You are listening to the Red Leaf Retrocast, your best location to learn, remember, and relive the past the present. I hope you enjoyed today's anime episode ahead of you, and I hope this also gets you to go check out an anime from the past. And now, on to the show. And welcome to Red Leaf Retrocast Anime Edition, episode 47. Guys, we're so close to 50. I'm your host, JD, joined by my two other amazing hosts who have been here since day one, Tori and Hickey. Start with you, Hickey. How you doing?
Hi. I'm doing fairly well. I'm excited. The new season started. It's the only thing keeping me afloat, and aside the alcohol, looking for a job. Nothing really changed. Yeah, that's about it.
You've joined my world, essentially.
No, you have a job now.
Well, I do have
your former
a job
world. Yeah.
Less time.
Part of.
Less time for watching anime and dying in Sekiro over and over again. Well, Tori, since you're here, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Been a quiet little day for me today. Nothing much happening, but I finished a new video yesterday, so that should go up on Monday.
Hooray!
The 80s retro recommendations are finally done, so I can't wait to see the reaction to that.
Do you think it's going to be even half as popular as the 90s video that you put out?
I have no idea. That would be nice, but I'm not expect. Like I said, I basically hit like fucking jackpot back to back, and I had I had a video with like over 1,000 views, and then I had a video with over 2,000 views, literally back to back, and then unsurprisingly the video after that got down to like 100 in the hundreds again. So
right.
I mean, yeah, sure. If I could get up to 1,000 again, yeah, sure, that'd be nice. But I don't expect
in your
it.
Ability.
I mean, I'm not really doing it. I'm just making the video and then publishing it. Then whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens. Well, the Friday bowling season came to an end for me last night. And I went out with a bang. I almost bowled a perfect game. I threw a 290. That was pretty good. Got a little sloshed afterwards, so I'm a little slow today.
Nothing new?
Nothing new there, I guess. Yeah, I got leftover Taco Bell Mountain Dew next to me and a coffee I made.
Oh God, Mountain Dew.
Oh wow.
That sounds awful.
The ultimate gaming sound.
Fucking, where's your Doritos, man?
Just some Taco Bell and Mountain Dew.
But yeah, the new job going well. It's good to have a consistent check again. It's very nice.
I'm glad you haven't melted your face again.
I can proudly say I did not get hurt at work this week.
Fantastic. 7 days since last accident. That good.
10, Tori. Come on, let's be more specific than that.
Fine. 10 days.
Yeah, and got back from New York City. Went there last weekend. Went to a bunch of wrestling shows with. My dad flew in there, and we had a good time. Got to see a lot of Japanese wrestling. See, the new season has started. You guys were very excited, talking about it a good half hour before the podcast started.
Yeah, something like that.
Here, only an episode or two are out. Any shows you're worried about to start off the season immediately?
Most of them.
Do you mean? Well, I mean, I'm worried. I'm worried about a show like not being able to go on television, but I guess we need to wait two more weeks to talk about.
Okay.
I mean, It's certainly is a unique season. You know, we have a lot of half-length shows, and the writing in the full-length shows are just going bananas.
Yeah.
way too many plot points and way too much story for 22 minutes. But maybe they they slow down a little bit in the next weeks or so.
I noticed immediately, just trying to figure out like where everything's streaming, and I go to Senpai Anime Charts for that, or senpai.moe is the site, and it just has a list of whether it's on High Dive, Netflix, Crunchyroll, what have you. Funimation has they're back, guys.
That's weird. What happens when
everything.
You're no longer in Crunchyroll jail,
right?
Yeah. I feel so sorry for High Dive though. They entered the fucking jail when Funimation left.
Yeah, High Dive only has, I'm seeing 4 shows
Damn.
from this season, and I don't think I'll be watching any of them actually. Which is disappointing.
I mean, if they are streaming the same as Crunchyroll, if they got the Crunchyroll exclusive, quote unquote exclusive shows, I might use their player because it's way better than Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I do like the High Dive player much more, which I
streaming
use to
thing,
watch New Dominion Tank Police, which is our anime we're discussing today.
Hey. Yeah, I almost watch most of my anime now on, well, the season I'm at least on Wakanim right now. They don't have much, but they actually have more for me than Crunchyroll does. So, yay! And they're cheaper than Crunchyroll, and I have access to basically their entire catalog, unlike Crunchyroll. So hey, more for me.
And what is Wakane? I believe you've mentioned this on the podcast before, and you're very
Yes.
excited about it for all of our listeners in the Scandinavia.
Yes, all of them. Wakanim
French.
is a French streaming service owned by Aniplex, and they stream in many countries in Europe, excluding some big ones like Italy. And they also expanded to Scandinavia and Canada for some reason, because, yeah, Canada.
Canada is basically like friends and England.
I mean, yeah.
So that's fine.
I mean, yeah,
we can count it as part of the Commonwealth.
I still think it's kind of funny that, it's so close to the U.S., and yet most stuff that the U.S. has, Canada does not, because the U.S. just says, nah, fuck you. Ours.
I know you're joking, but it's very true.
That's what makes it funny.
Haha. So, Funimation has a whole bunch. Wakane, very excited to hear what you have to say about that as time goes on. Because you said 5 shows from this season are streaming on there?
Yeah, it's like We Never Learn, Fairy Gone. They will stream the second part of Season 3 of Attack on Titan. And then there's Fruits Basket 2019. And then one more show that escapes my mind right now, but yeah. And
Oh, not bad.
Yep.
A couple of those are the Funimation shows, which you just wouldn't have access to legally in the first place.
that is true. And,
So,
yeah. And also,
that's good.
And also, they have movies.
Something you know a lot about right now.
Something I know a lot about right now, yes. I'm definitely going to be watching some of those movies on Wakanim, so.
Well then, let's see. Anything else I wanted to discuss or anything? Nah, let's just move on to your movie quest, Tori.
I have a movie quest? Yes. Of course.
Go for it. No
No
drop
drop?
this time. We're
Oh,
we're just
shit.
going straight. We're just
Damn.
going straight into it.
I was caught off guard. All right. So, let's just see here then. What have I watched since the last time? Well, I've now finally finished up the 2000s and entered the 2010s. So, we are finishing up this movie quest in the not too distant future, probably, if this pace keeps up. And the movies that I watched since last time is Red Line, First Squad: The Moment of Truth, Evangelion 2.0, Lupin the Third versus Detective Conan, not the one with the same title that's also called the movie, but we also watched Welcome to the Space Show, Colorful movie.
Welcome to the space show.
Welcome to the Space Show. Uchu show e okoso. Lupin the Third, The Last Job, and Arietti. So.
Oh, I liked Arietti.
Good for you. I did not.
Oh, what didn't you like about it?
That's not the movie I'm talking about. But yeah, no, I didn't like the characters. I thought it became like I get the whole like I didn't like the premise of like the villain, especially when they introduced that, because the whole I get it, the whole nature thing and human footprints, and we take things and we fucking cage things and we destroy things and we don't even give a shit because we're just looking for our own survival. But then the fucking old woman who's taking care of the boy with the heart disease is like, just all of a sudden like, ooh, little people need to capture everything. I need them. It's like she just went fucking crazy for no reason. I'm like, sure. And yeah, I just thought the whole like, I felt like the whole, like I was okay with it up until like the halfway point, and then the second half just, nah, it lost me.
Oh, bummer. Sorry to hear that.
So yeah, but again,
it's just the borrowers, anyways.
Yeah, it's just the borrowers. They're not stealing; they're just borrowing stuff. Yes, without permission.
And not
we have
giving
a word
it
for
back.
that. We have a word for that. It's called stealing. Anyways,
she doesn't want to just capture the little people. She wants to put them in jail because they've been stealing from them. It's theft.
Of course, jail. And
the true villain is our hero.
And then puts air holes in them so that they can breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anyways, the movies that I'm going to be talking about this time are Redline. Yes, that's right, the Red Line. And First Squad, The Moment of Truth. So, let's start with Redline. Redline is a movie from 2009, produced by Studio Madhouse, and was directed by Takeshi Koike, a guy that I like a lot for not just his Redline, but for his Lupin stuff as well that he's been doing recently. And he's a really good animator first and foremost, but his directorial stuff is very interesting. The summary from Anime Planet says, in a time where hover cars reign supreme and wheeled vehicles are a thing of the past, one group of dedicated speedsters aim for the ultimate goal, to compete in the notorious Redline race. In a no-holds-barred battle where anything goes from nitro boosters to all-out warfare and dirty tactics, competitors must be prepared for anything. Having lost out in the qualifying yellow line race, Sweet JP finally, almost JD, Sweet JP almost gets the chance to participate in Redline as a substitute. However, with his car requiring a total rebuild, the Robo-World government, using all their military might to prevent the race from happening and host a host of the universe's best racers, including the beautiful Sonoshi McLaren, to contend with. Okay. Can JP go for glory and take the checkered flag? That was a mess of a synopsis, but alright.
Yeah, usually Anime Planet synopses are better than that.
Yeah.
That was kind of a weird one to read.
Yeah.
Anyways. I love how they named one of the main characters McLaren in a racing anime. It's so good.
Yeah. That's good. But like, obviously, what is this? This is essentially an action movie, but racing. It is just high octane action, blood pumping, fast speed. There's a reason why even the fucking cover art for it is like just fucking JP, like all distorted like that, because he's going fast, and you need to understand that. And the reason he's got his hair
distorting space and time.
Literally.
How fast? Yeah, I mean, the ending of the movie is basically that, regardless.
Not even just basically. It's like fucking. They're even competing on who can bend space time the most. It's just an absolutely insane movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. I watched it on Blu-ray, and I didn't have to deal with British subtitles this time. So that was good. They actually translated it well and not overly British, but I guess this isn't set in London, so I guess that makes sense. So, it was nice. It was a good movie. Some things I felt could have been fleshed out a little bit better, especially in terms of character, and
sure.
The music in the movie was a little bit disappointing to me, but just
what?
Yeah, I didn't like the music. First of all, there wasn't that much music. they really like to use the same song
I guess it
over
was
and over
more.
again.
I guess it was more about the beats than music itself.
Yeah, like it fits, but it is like after like fucking a couple hours, not a couple hours, but after like an hour, and you've heard like the same fucking song at least like 10 times. You're like, okay, I get it. I understand.
I can understand.
This is the de facto race song. The race song and the Anything Cool Happens song, as well as the Let's Sit Down and Have a Discussion song, and the fucking the new fucking engine comes in song, I guess.
They're all part of the same track.
So yeah, it's overuse of one song for sure. But just in terms of everything else, in terms of animation and whatnot, this movie is just absolutely amazing, and because
it's on another level.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously Takeshi Koike, he is, like I said, he is known as a pretty good animator, and Redline is kind of special in that Redline was in production for 7 years before it was released. So this show came out kind of a lot later than it was supposed to originally. But, there was all on, like, the plan was just to make essentially the perfect movie. At least in terms of animation. And as Takeshi Koike himself has later said, he will never do this again, ever. Because
because it almost bankrupted the studio, too.
I don't think so. Like, he got pretty much free reign over this. But the problem for him was the fact that he spent 7 years working on this. And if you know anything about animation, you know that is a time-consuming task, and you have to do, it's a lot of work. And the problem then is that since he's busy doing this, he isn't doing any other work, so he's not really getting paid. At least not yet. So he had to do this as well as take on side jobs next to it. So, yeah, basically spending all day animating for something else, and then spending all night animating this. It's not exactly what you want to do. And that took 7 years. So yeah, it's...
Let's see, Takeshi Koike.
I'm
going to look this guy up, see what he was doing during this 7-year time frame. So keep going, Tori.
I don't know how much he did, but like, it was mostly just like freelance stuff. But it is insane. It's an insanely good looking movie. It is just...
Let's see.
An amazing... I don't know how to put it. Like, if you're if this you are what you're looking for, if you're looking for a tightly written narrative with like really interesting, well fleshed out characters, you're not going to find that in Redline. But what you are going to find is a fucking just balls to the walls racing show, just high action, explosions literally everywhere, dumbass powers, stupid haircut that proves very important in the end.
Come on. The fucking the bread hair. the thing, yeah. I mean, for me, it's more like when I watched Redline, was like I feel like watching a racing action anime, right?
Yeah.
It was more for me. Redline, it is beautiful. The color distortion, the light.
Yep.
And the photography are excellent. But when it comes to the story, it's more like a pocket action. It's just like, I feel like watching this, and then you just watch Red Light. I don't feel like watching a full-length anime on action. I just want something, short and quick. Just Red Light, because since it's a racing movie, and a lot of the things are thought to give you a sense of motion and speed, you actually don't feel the time passing when you watch it.
Yeah.
Because you're too in the mentality of speed and action and motion. So, when it comes to the end, and it's a high-octane ending, a little fun, you don't... Suddenly it's over and it's like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
This is just the pocket action I wanted. Done. Move on. But I never planned to watch it. I was just like, I feel like watching an action show. This looks cool. Just put it on television, and suddenly 2 minutes later it's over, but it passed. More than 1 hour has passed.
Yeah, almost 2 hours has passed.
So I've only been able to find one other thing he was doing during this 9-year span. 7 to 9 year span, and that was an anime called Dead Leaves. It was a movie.
Oh, yeah, right, that movie. Isn't that classified as hentai? Or am I thinking of something else? Okay. I might be thinking of something else then. That's fair though.
It does have mild nudity.
Okay, so it's basically hentai. Got it.
Okay.
No. Yeah. Again, most of his stuff was contract work anyway, so I'm not even sure if you get fucking credited for that. Depending on what you do, obviously. But yeah. But no, like you said.
Let's see, he's the one doing the trilogy of Lupin movies.
Yes.
Character pieces.
Yep, that's
Koika.
That's the one.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said I've only watched one of those so far, but I'm still planning on watching the other two. But yeah, no, like the speed in this movie is is something else. And I'm not even gonna lie, during some of the races, I could literally feel myself just gripping my chair really hard once you see the characters distort to go faster. You kind of feel like you're getting. You kind of feel like you're getting sucked in.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
I quite enjoyed Redline.
Even things that like a good action series is when you don't care about the dumb things that are happening in the screen, and even like the guys inside of the cars going so fast, they are breaking this like the speed of sound, and you have like sonic cracks. They're screaming at each other.
Yeah.
So, like, fuck it. Even that you don't care about that because you're just so pumped up by the action.
That
of this
isn't
movie.
even the dumbest shit, though. I mean, fuck's sake, like you're saying, they're going at like light speed, and they're literally fucking crashing and exploding, and they're like emerging from the fucking wreck all fine. Like shit. Damn it. I crashed, and I'm like, you should be dead. As a matter of fact, there shouldn't be any trace left of your body. You should have basically been erased from history. But nope, they're fine.
Sonashi McLaren's also hot as hell.
That she is.
Yeah, and you can't talk about Redline and not mention that.
Yeah. No, that's true. She is. Although again, she doesn't do much of anything.
She doesn't have to do much, Tori. She's Sonashi McLaren. She's the best.
Yeah, sure.
She's the best.
She has the best ass, I agree.
Have you watched this special as well?
No, I only watched the movie. Isn't it just a pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a pilot before the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I really wish... I know, like, animation-wise, it's not feasible, but if we're talking, like, properties to bring back that just haven't been explored through in a wider world and universe, I think the Redline universe would be pretty awesome. See more of JP, his past, even Sonashi McLaren, or what happened after the race, and it just continues the story from there.
I mean, to be honest, I believe everyone died after the fucking race. By the ending, I guess it's a way too heavy spoiler, but they definitely died.
Full on Akira.
Oh yeah. Probably. No, I don't know. I definitely don't think this is something that needs exploring. Would I like for them to have explored or gone deeper into certain things? Yes. Do I think it's necessary for them to bring it back in order to? No. I think that would just add unnecessary elements to it that really isn't needed. Like I said, it is first and foremost an action show, and that's just really it. So
you couldn't see something like a Speed Racer Shonen type thing where it's just Sweet JP going around race to race.
See, there's a problem there.
Getting into shenanigans.
I can't see it, but that doesn't mean I want it.
I'd like to see that.
I don't particularly care for Speed Racers, so that's fine. But anyways, that's...
If you want to hear more of our thoughts over Speed Racer, go check out that episode.
You should quite definitely do that. Yes. And then you listen to me get annoyed at them talking about the dub. Anyways, moving on to the next one.
Dub is great. Hickey, back me up.
No.
I mean, it's way too fast. We're discussing about 60s enemies also. Just way too much. It looks like the fucking dub voice actors just snorted a bunch of cocaine. So, regardless, moving on.
Yeah.
Talking about snorting cocaine.
Talking about snorting cocaine, yeah. I also watched another movie, rather more of an OVA, but 73-minute OVA, called First Squad, The Moment of Truth, also from 2009, which is by Studio 4 Degrees Celsius, who's also done stuff like Memories and The Mind Game. Mind Game is Masaki Iwasa, and Memories is a bunch of people, including Satoshi Kon, as well as
Takeda.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the third one in Memories, I believe.
No, wasn't that Kazuhiro Otomo?
Or was it?
That was Kazuhiro Otomo.
Oh, no, Stink Bomb. Stink Bomb is what
Yeah.
he was doing. That's what Takeda was part of.
Kazuhiro Otomo was the guy who made Akira, by the way. In case you didn't know. So yeah,
Yeah. He'll never amount to anything.
Never. He's never made anything good, ever.
So what's this one about, Tori? Because when I was looking at the synopsis, making the agenda for the cast, it seemed pretty interesting.
Okay. Let's go through the synopsis from Anime Planet first, then. It says, during the opening days of World War II on the Eastern Front, a group of Soviet teenagers, each with an extraordinary ability, are drafted to form a special unit to fight the invading German army. They are opposed by Schutzstaffel, SS, Protection Squad, officer who is attempting to raise from the dead a supernatural army of crusaders from the 12th century, Order of the Sacred Cross, and enlist them in the Nazi cause. So yes,
I did translate Schutzstaffel for you.
Okay.
That's what that means. Protection Squad.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense then.
Nice.
You should.
It's just Nazi doing weird Nazi things they did.
Nazis
It's the plot to Wolfenstein.
I mean, it's the plot about a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein is awesome. But like we see like Wolfenstein, the first squad is like, supernatural Nazis, but they actually did a bunch of those things.
Yeah.
They try to summon like aliens and shit. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting story.
Sorry. First question.
Yes.
Was there Mecha Hitler in this movie?
There was no Mecha Hitler in this movie.
Damn it! Worst movie ever. I'm already out.
JD. No one will be that fucking miracle of acceptance, right? Just no matter. But the movie, I like that movie. I like first. Go Tori, please.
Icky knows how I feel about this. So, yeah, basically, it takes place in Russia during World War II on the Eastern Front, and it's essentially the reason why it's called the Moment of Truth is because there is expected for the Nazis are trying to swing the war in their favor, and by changing it by bringing back obviously a 12th century crusader of the Sacred Cross, boss guy who was just fucking remarkable for murdering people, so they want him. Because they expect him to be able to do good stuff in a world where everyone has guns, even though he just has a sword, and a horse. But hey,
I mean, didn't they explain it?
No,
he's just basically like a demigod going around.
No, they don't
it's
explain
like that.
shit.
Like,
he has to block bullets with his shield. Fuck off.
But I believe that there's an explanation.
He's dead already.
Nazis were doing that.
I don't know.
That's a good quality.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
if
a great quality.
That was one thing that was kind of confusing because I don't know if they were actually able to kill them or not because they're already dead. So it seems kind of impossible to kill them, but also they killed them. So I'm not entirely sure on how this works. But time is also standing still, so that's kind of how they're able to just kind of show up and do shit. But anyways, we have this girl, right? What she has the ability to do is she seems to have a mixture of the ability to foretell the future as well as communicating with the dead. Her ability is kind of all over the place. It kind of does what is required of her at this moment. So she is eventually joins up with her squad, and she is told to enlist the help of her friends who were killed very early on in the war from beyond from the afterlife. So they put her into the suicide machine to kill her, but not really kill her. Only kill her so much that she goes to the afterlife but can't come back. So yeah, that's her job, and she does that. And they also try to figure out what this moment of truth is, the moment where history changes, which is what they have to find out. And at the same time, she has to run away from these German spies who, these twin girls who pretended to be journalists, but literally from the opening and based on their design, literally based on nothing but the design, you can already tell that they're German. At least that was my first thought. I was like, I looked at them and I was like, they look German as hell. And all of a sudden, we're German spies. And I'm like, yeah, of course you are. Cold heads. So yeah. No, and then ultimately, Crusader guy is summoned, time stops, but the girl is there to stop them in time, but her friends never showed up. And then they do show up late to be badasses and slay some stuff and save her from getting killed. And then it turns out that actually they didn't kill the fucking guy, but they retreated back to the afterlife, so movie over. It's weird. It's all over the place. It feels like a whole bunch of like half thought out stories put together with no real connection to each other. And yeah. It's fun, kinda, but I would not call it good.
I mean, I like this show. It's just dumb.
It is dumb.
No, I don't really care. I mean, it caught my attention because it's a Nipo-Russian production, so it's not in Japanese, it's in Russian. Yeah. It also caught my attention because in 2009, for some reason I don't understand, this was released in Brazil in DVD format. So
I mean,
I think my friend had the DVD. So like it was, I don't know why, and it was dubbed as well. So I watched it in Russian and in Portuguese. For some reason, when I watched it, I thought that Russian really worked out with Japanese animation. I don't know why. I guess that's basically my perception of Russian. It sounds cool.
I like the way they speak.
Yeah, there was some like the Suicide Machine and the Afterlife and the Baron von Wolf coming back.
Baron von Wolf, yeah, that's right, that was his name. Oh, dude, I just love the fact that she goes back to recruit her friends who were killed, right? And they're all like, yeah, sure, totally. We understand. Why are you here? You're not dead. We're dead. Absolutely. We'll join you. Sure. Whatever. And I was like, then when she leaves, they're like, well, what are we actually gonna do? And then they're like, one of the guys is like, I have an idea. Let's go and visit this old hunchback dude. It's like, why? Well, because he sells guns. He sells the latest of Russian, German, and Japanese weaponry. I'm like, you're in the fucking afterlife. Where does he get this shit? You're dead. It's not like he could just fucking place an order for this.
They are the spirits of the broken guns.
Clearly. And then they just
go to the afterlife.
He won't sell it to them, so they just hand him a fucking button. Like a fucking special seal. And he's just like, this is rare. And he just looks at me, he's like, fine, take whatever you want. Then he fucking shuts the door behind him and turns on the light in this little fucking... Oh, at least what you assume is just a small container. Until you realize after the light turns up that this thing is fucking ginormous and it's filled with literally anything from fucking simple pistols to like rifles and fully machine guns to flamethrowers to fucking anti-fucking tank weaponry, everything. Fucking light machine guns, heavy machine guns. I'm like, motherfucker, this guy's stacked. I don't even know why he works as a fucking weapon salesman in the afterlife. What do they need it for?
He's just a gun collector.
I mean, I guess. Oh yeah, nah. First quarter.
It is dumb.
Yes.
It's really dumb. There's some dumb stuff. I watched it the same way as like, oh, I ever heard about it. My friend had the DVD. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna watch this one. Just watch it. I was like, I really enjoy this.
Yeah.
It is dumb, but it's my kind of dumb.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's just the Soviet Union paranormal squad fighting the obscurantist Nazis.
Yeah, no, I get
You
that.
know what?
It's not my cup of tea, but
I think
it's alright.
this is also like an Indiana Jones plot as well, right?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And also, it's the plot for Metal Slug.
Like I said, there's just a whole bunch of like
Slug
unfinished
reference.
ideas put together. But yeah, no, I definitely fell into the same trap as JD just did when he heard about it or when he read about it. It's like, it sounds interesting, but then you go and watch it and it's just like, it could use some work. They could improve upon this.
I like it.
At least it's not a heavy time investment. It's only 73 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. But still, though, you could spend your 73 minutes better.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot to go through here because we still have our manga manhwa checkout. We got winter anime reviews and New Dominion Tank Police to talk about. So, definitely a drop time. Here we go.
Go, 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 Astro Boy!
All right, Hickey, why don't you take this away? This was your brainchild this time around.
Yep. All right. And now it's time for the manga moment, or online comic checkout. This is a segment where me and JD will go around and highlight a few manga, manhwa, webtoon we liked or were recommended to us. And this is the seventh checkout of the manga Beastars, which had a full CGI anime announced by Netflix. And let's see what JD put here. It is a manga from Weekly Shonen Champion, written and illustrated by Paru Itagaki, released in September 2016, and it's currently 12 volumes and ongoing. Also, it's going to be released in Latin America, which I'm very excited about.
Cool.
I might buy it. If it's not, expensive as hell. Alright, the Anime Planet summary says, in a world populated by anthropomorphic animals, herbivores and carnivores coexist with each other. For the adolescents of the Charrington School, school life is filled with hope, romance, distrust, and uneasiness. Legosi, the wolf, a member of the drama club, has, despite of his menacing appearances, a very gentle heart. Throughout most of his life, he has always been an object of fear and hatred by other animals, and he's been quite accustomed to that lifestyle. But soon he finds himself becoming more involved with his fellow classmates, who have their own share of insecurities, and finds his life in school changing slowly. Of course, this Anime Planet summary actually is missing a point.
It's missing a few of them.
It's missing, but I remember when I saw Beastars for the first time, it ended with, but his his school life was shaken when a murder happened.
Yeah.
And it ended in that, right?
Yeah, that's a big point to it. But the first, I want to say, 4 volumes isn't about that.
No, you went for.
I've actually read half of this. So
Dude,
I read over 6 volumes already.
Yeah, when I told you it was good. When I heard about it, I ignored it by like 3 months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I saw the cover arts, and it doesn't look like a manga. It looks more like a graphic novel.
Yeah. All the volume covers are kind of like that.
The story is very eccentric. It also doesn't explain what a Beastars is, which is basically like kind of a top idol.
Yeah, top idol of the school.
It's
or
not
the
even
series
of the school. It's like it's from society. It's the top idol of society, and they explain it. Also, the synopsis I've read explain it for us, and they're like, this is dumb. This is like anthropomorphic animals competing to be the top idol, and then it ends with like a murdering happening. So I was like, oh, okay. It was way too eccentric, and the looks of it looks more like a graphic novel. I ignored it, and then I was like, one day I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna read it since I don't have anything better to do, and I don't feel like sleeping. I'm gonna read Beastars, and I read like 112 chapters in one night.
Oh wow. I've been
Yeah, I stopped reading. It was like 2 a.m. Like,
Hecky.
holy shit, this
Hecky.
thing is good.
Hecky. Just fucking hearing you
Yes.
say, like, anthropomorphic idols are police. It's like, God, Hecky. Uma
Seriously,
Musume, huh?
yeah, I wasn't sure
Don't
what
mention
the
Oma Musume in front of me. I get very sad when I hear that name.
I wasn't sure what to think of this going in. I was like, I don't know if this is going to be really my thing, and it piqued my interest when it starts off with the murder happening at school. And you're like, okay, how is that going to play? But then for the next, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 chapters, it's all about just meeting Legacy, this wolf. And he's this standoffish character. He wants to be in the background of these other characters you're introduced to that mean more to the story on the surface. You got the asshole deer, and you have the slutty rabbit.
What is this? Fucking killing bites.
I mean, it's more violent than than killing bites. More serious as well.
So what was starting to grab me was its maturity, which I was very surprised with. I thought it was going to be, your atypical kind of high school drama kind of deal, but with animal characters instead. But the maturity level grabbed me with a lot of sex, violence, problems with, I think probably the most interesting aspect of turning a high school drama upside down a little bit was the characters are written like they're animals, as in their instincts play a role, and their like DNA and how everything's written as an animal to their human characteristics. I think one, the wolf falls in love with the rabbit, or does he, or is it a disguise for his animal instincts taking over? And they really touch on how much, your teenage angst comes into play. You don't know yourself. You're trying to figure it all out. It's a very confusing time. Really like that. So
yeah. It's really interesting, like, when they touch that. It's like, is she your lover? Is she like your love interest? Or is she your prey, and you don't want anyone close to your prey?
Right.
There's also a little, like, quote-unquote drug abuse with the lion.
Yeah, it's like, I have rabbit's blood.
he drinks rabbit blood. Just stay chill. It is a very interesting show. You also have, like, at episode, like, at chapter 30, exactly, you have, like, the deer guy with the 9mm.
He just pulls a gun out of. It's like, there's this tiger character. It really focuses on their time in the drama club at their boarding school, because that's where they're at. They're kind of shut off from society because you don't get to leave the school.
Because they need to learn how to, live with each other first before becoming adults.
Right.
And the adults can go out in the society. Although you learn after that, because that you have the slums, and it is a green place. Have you seen the slums already?
Well, I've been to the Black Alley Market.
Yeah, the Black Alley Market. It's the slums. They call it the slums.
Where
people
I believe
sell parts
what I
of
was
their body
reading
to
was
be consumed.
they changed the translation of it after a chapter. It was originally called the slums, I think, and then they started calling it the Black Alley Market.
Yeah. So, like, they go there, and you realize that they never get along. The adults just go to the Black Alley Market, and the carnivores, right, just go there and, eat some snacks. Let's put it that.
Eat some snacks. Yeah, so I was supposed to only read maybe the first volume or like 10 chapters, but I honestly just couldn't put it down. I was at work.
Oh, yeah.
And really, this hooked me more than, say...
JD, don't say that.
I was at work reading manga, spilling acid everywhere.
Yeah.
No,
it has,
there's
those
some
manipulating heavy chemicals.
No, I get some
I was reading
downtime.
some-
I get some downtime, and I just found myself anytime I had that downtime, I would just pick up my phone and start reading Beastars. And there's a couple pages in there where I just go, I hope no one's watching this.
Some dude is standing over you. It's like, that's my fetish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's some depictions of the characters where you just go, man, if I was a furry, this some shit's happening here.
It is a quite mature. One interesting thing is that it's not listed as a mature manga. I don't know why.
It
At least
isn't?
not in my anime list. No, in my anime list it's listed as shonen.
All right, I gotta look. Okay, Anime Planet. Let's see what they listed at. That's really funny. But yeah, I just couldn't put it down. It was just very interesting. I love it's a simple plot, and they do enough to expand on that simple plot to not make it convoluted, overly complicated. It's just these certain characters have goals. That particular arc is that character trying to reach that goal, and there's conflict in between. Very simple. It's done, and I believe it's ranked number 1 on the Shonen Champion magazine.
Oh yeah, it's surprisingly really good. Like I said, when I started reading it, I couldn't put it down. I went into I was finished with the volume, like the chapters released, because the more you read, the more entangled you get to the story. The society of the world is fucked up. You know, you see Legoshi just wants to be a nice guy, and then he decided, you know what, life is too short, and I want to be something as well.
Right.
Then he started going to fight, and he got scars. He gets stabbed and shit.
There's a lot more I want to talk about what happens later, and you were hinting at me, you just because I go, this is more mature, or this is interesting, and you just go, well, things get fucked up later. I'm like, what could he possibly mean by that? And then
and then you get to the Black Alley Market,
and then when they start leaving the school and the society part opens up and a new conflict is introduced, shit gets real, and it's very cool. And for the record, Anime Planet doesn't have listed as mature or anything either. It's shonen school life.
I mean, it is published in a Shonen magazine, so.
But this is so wrong. This is at least like plus 16.
It's
So,
definitely
like,
at
I
least
don't-
plus 16, because I took a screenshot of something from the early chapters. Let's see. Or just random things from the chapters. Let's see here. When he first
like
meets
just-
the rabbit, she
He's just
rips
like,
off his
I
clothes.
just want some flowers, and like, oh, you want some flowers? I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? She's
Yeah.
like, oh, he's a large breed carnivore. He might be huge. I don't know if it fits. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah,
What
the
is
rabbit's
going
just
on
gonna
now?
go, oh, you didn't come here for sex? Well, that was weird. I was like, what?
I was like, oh fuck.
I think
Yeah,
that
that
was the first moment where I go, okay, things are heating up.
Yeah, I mean, the first moment is really when the murder happens.
Well, that's the very
And-
initial
Yeah,
point to it.
it's the very initial. It's the very. It's exactly that. I went there. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. I just have a free time. I will see 2-3 chapters, and if I like, I'll keep going tomorrow. And then that first shock you get with the murder happening in school. It's not only someone get murdered, someone got eaten.
Yeah, it's not just I stabbed him. No, they fucking ate him alive.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. And that
And then
becomes
the
a
pressure
theme.
start building, and anxiety start building. And I was like, all right, you know what, this might be worth going until the end.
Yeah.
Because
I did get a kick out of the deer character, Louis.
Louis is awesome. The deer character, he's awesome.
And
Doesn't give a shit.
yeah, he doesn't give a fuck about anything other than himself. Even after he goes, all right, guys, I know a murder took place from one of our own drama club members here at the school, but we have a fucking show to do, so the show must go on. Forget the murder, forget that person. It's all about me and my spotlight. I was like, okay, asshole.
At least it's being honest.
And he's always strapped because he doesn't trust anyone. So he's like a herbivore can defend itself with tools. Just pulls a gun. Oh, I love that guy. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a tiger in the club. He's the one that takes the rabbit's blood. That's when you get a feel for drug use in the world. And he at one point later on he confronts Louis, and he's like, "I know your past." I go, "Well, how the fuck did he find out?" And before even anything else happens, Louis just pulls out a gun from the back and he goes, "You shut the fuck up." I was like, "What the hell?"
Oh, it's great. It's great.
So this is really fun.
Oh, you saw the panda as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've met awesome muscular Dr. Panda.
Dr. Panda. It's great.
He's no joke. He's a good character. Getting to learn about him more. I finished the entire first arc, which is, I guess, what would I title that as? Legosi's inner drama arc, and then the second arc around chapter 50 is when that starts. That's when you start learning about what Beastars are exactly, what role they play, other than they're just a top idol. No, they're kind of set for life. And that's when the murder from the very first chapter really starts rolling to that next conflict. So I definitely recommend this manga to just about anybody, as long as you can handle some of the more mature elements, such as sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of feel that's going on in this manga.
Yeah, I mean, there's even like a few parts that would qualify as guru. Parts missing, and you see the inner parts of humanoid-looking things. It's, and people eating it, and a little bit of description when watching it, or reading it. I'm excited for the anime as well that will be coming out in Netflix, because it's done by Studio Orange, and Studio Orange did Hoseki no Kuni. So I know the CGI they look at is very good.
Yep, Tori. So this would be definitely something I would recommend. I think you'd like it.
I'm gonna wait for the anime to come out, and I'm probably not gonna read it.
That's fine. The anime's coming out in the fall, so not much time to wait.
If I'm gonna be reading anything, it's gonna be Killing Bites, anyways. So.
The drawing is so good, though. This is the problem. It's well drawn. Holy shit! Yeah, it's 100% a recommended anime.
I do like the facial expressions. Liked it. I do like the facial expressions quite a lot. It brings out more emotion out of the characters. The sassiness and sarcasm of the bunny girl is really funny.
Yeah.
The dwarf rabbit. What's her name again? Haru. Yeah,
it's great. Also, if you want a dumb, shitty shonen school life manga with anthropomorphic animals, I also have one.
I think I'll stick with Beastars from now.
All right.
Yeah, I am going to be picking away at this manga until I'm all caught up. This is probably, besides Seven Seeds, which I'd read the whole thing prior. This is a new manga in our Manga Manhwa checkout that I'm actually going to continue reading from here on out. So Hickey,
nice, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome recommendation.
Yeah.
And with that, we got to get it to our 2019 winter reviews, because man, we're running long here. So here we go. I will play this one. Dragon Ball Z. All right. Winter anime reviews from 2019. This includes any anime that has finished from this past season, or just anything that finished in the winter season. Per Hickey's recommendation, we're going to be sticking with the anime we did our impressions on and see how it all turned out in the end. And if we drop the show, well, that's when we can kind of replace it with something else that had finished, and we can give that time over to that one. So, Tori, since Shield Hero, or no, you had Shield Hero, didn't you, Hickey?
Yeah, I had
Okay.
Shield Hero.
Tori had Dororo, and since that's still ongoing, that will be probably saved for the spring reviews. You replaced it with this show that you're going to talk about here, right?
I was planning on starting at the end, actually. I was planning on taking that last.
Okay, we'll do it last then. That's
Yeah.
fine. It's keeping the audience in suspense.
Yes. So you will know what I replaced Dororo with later. Anyways, starting off, I watched a show this last season called Manaria Friends, or Mysteria Friends in English, because
Mysteria Friends. That was the dumbest thing of the last season.
I still stick by my. I still think they should have when they had to change it. They should have just called it Malaria Friends, like I always do.
Yeah.
Because why not?
A lot of friends.
Malaria Friends. Anyway.
Everyone lives close to the Amazon.
Yep. Anyways, the synopsis for Mal goes on like this: Mysteria Academy, because again Mysteria, right? Because they can't use Manaria. Mysteria Academy is a prestigious magic school that teaches magic without discrimination to the three factions: men, gods, and demons, who usually are engaged in battle with each other. Two of the academy students are Anne, a princess and honor student, and Glare. Yeah, Glare.
Okay.
No, Greya. Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Glare? Greya. Sorry. What are you doing, Mal? Greya. A
That's why you
princess.
should read the Anime Planet once.
Yeah, it's funny because they have Glare in the synopsis, and then you look down at the characters and it says Greya. So.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, a princess born from a dragon and a human. So, what is this? It's 10 episodes of soft, very, very, very soft Yuri, and not that much of.
Shoujo-ai.
Yeah,
Very soft shoujo-ai. It doesn't really qualify as you.
I wouldn't even say really qualifies as shoujo-ai either. So
That's why it's like a very, very. It's a very, very. Ooh, girls might be fine as well.
but hey, still, the dragon girl is hot. Okay, so
Yes.
that's really all that matters. And basically, they go about their
Yes.
days doing school, going to the beach, doing an exercise where or where you think they get invaded, but really it's just a precaution they take to make sure that everyone knows what to do in case of something happening.
Wait, hold on. They blew up half of the school just for an exercise?
No, they yes.
I legitimately thought that was an invasion because
Wait.
they started exploding the buildings. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Did you ever watch what happened after the after the AED kicks in? Did you keep watching?
A few times.
There's
Some of the
always-
times you just skipped.
There was always stuff at the end there. That was one of the episodes. They just fucking go like, hey. They just go at the end there when fucking Anne shows up and she's just like blows everything up, and they're like, you didn't have to do that. It's just practice. And you're like, But I wanted to be included because Anne is not only a princess, but she's just super gifted and good at everything. So she's usually not allowed to take part in these things because, first of all, if something actually happened, they would have just rushed her out at her anyways. And secondly, because if somebody actually came to attack, they'd pour them. So yeah, it's really nothing except girls smiling at each other, occasionally holding hands, wanting to sleep together. That's mentioned a couple times. Learning to swim, learning to do stuff. It's about nothing at all, but it's got cute girls, goddammit, and a really hot dragon princess. Therefore, 6 out of 10.
Yes. Also, she shed scheme.
Oh yes.
That was.
And Anne
you know,
takes the skin and
I
keeps it in
started
her
sweating
room.
so hard.
Dude.
I started sweating. I was like, oh my god. Why so hot here? Okay, I live in hell. But aside from that,
It's funny though. Anne takes the fucking shed skin and then hides
oh
it
my,
in her room.
oh my god, oh my, that was creepy as fuck. At the ending, at the last episode, she just gets the shed skin and starts sniffing it and moaning. I was like, all right, you just chill out a little bit, you know. It's fine. I like Monster Girls as well. I understand you.
I get
Just
it.
chill out.
I get it. Nah, it's funny though because every once in a while it does kind of just it push in the pedal a little bit. Because you also have the love potion scene where she's trying to get Greya to drink the tea with a love potion, which I think is fucking funny.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
just saying that, what's the matter, Greya? Something wrong? Don't you want to drink your tea? It's got its moments. It's an okay show.
Yeah. A lot of innuendos. Great innuendos from time to time.
So yeah, Hickey.
Yes.
Mhm.
No. I mean, I'm gonna start talking about Toru Majutsu no Index Season 3. There's nothing much to talk. It's just this third season of Index. Index has been dead for like 10 years and suddenly came back. I didn't understand anything. I will have to rewatch it. 9 out of 10. It was great.
What? It's just so fast.
I mean, just like the show.
Just like the show. There was one point where I didn't watch for like 2 weeks. When I came back, I couldn't understand anything. I just know there's a guy called Hamazura and he can summon up Russians with AK-47 out of the ground. And he's awesome. Done.
He's a level 0
That's it.
who beats out some of the most powerful people in the world because he has a waifu to protect.
Indeed. I mean, Index is way compared to Accelerator and Railgun, but give it a try. It's a classic by now.
Like, I think one of the friends in our Discord, I think he puts it the best. Like, it's the it's the best 6 of 5. Sorry, what is it? It's a best. No, how fucking I forget how it goes. It's a 6 or sorry, it's a 7 that shits the bed, so it's a 6. Or sorry, it's a 5 that shits the bed. It's a 6 that shits the bed, so it's a 5, but it's also entertaining, so it should have been a 7. So it's a 6. That's how it goes.
So it's a 6. Yeah. It is just confusing. Give it a try.
Yep.
Index is fun. The third season was just what?
The third season, basically, like, essentially what happens a lot of the time in Index is that Index is produced kind of awkwardly in the sense that, like, they cut out a lot of, like, fluff and stuff that happens in between arcs. And they've always done that. But then fucking comes season 3 and they basically just decided, you know what? Who cares what happens in between arcs? Let's just cut out all of that. So now you literally just have them going from something to something else all the time. It's literally just like they just fought someone who was like their fucking enemy, and then the next episode they're fighting together in Russia. It's like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And also it has a big problem because although it's a light novel, its structure looks more like of a soap opera.
Yeah.
Where you have nucleus of characters, each one with your own main character, and all of them have their own story, converging at the same point and happening at the same space time. So sometimes they just interlapse.
Yep.
And it's confusing as hell. That is basically shit explodes or shit hits the fan in the third season.
Yeah.
Where all those stories are converging to the same point.
Yep.
They cross each other and then they just goes away so quickly. So weird.
Yeah.
9 out of 10. It was great. They didn't understand shit.
Yeah, nah. Like, because, what is it, the light novels of Index, there's like 3 mainline ones. The Magical Index, Scientific Railgun, and now the Accelerator one. And based on the end of fucking Index, I'll be damned if there won't soon be a fucking Hamasura one.
Dude, Hamazura needs his own light novel. You don't understand. He's a madman protecting his waifu. He needs a fucking light novel. He's the best character ever made in Index. Yeah. Anyway, JD, you're next.
Alrighty. And for the record, Beastars Manga Volume 1 is coming out July 16th of this year in print.
Nice.
Oh, the United States.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking on Right Stuff, so.
Yeah, I think in Latin America we will start in September.
Not bad.
Something like that.
Not bad.
August,
About the same
September.
time. Alrighty, so I'm going to do, with the heavy hitter right here, Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. It is definitely more mob. If you are unfamiliar with Mob Psycho, you can pretty much jump in on Season 2, but definitely recommend seeing Season 1 as first as well.
I disagree. Don't jump in on Season 2.
Well, Season 1
You
was very
can,
good, so you
but
can
you won't
definitely
understand a
stop
lot of things because it has a good sense of continuation where the actions of one character affects the other one, and you see kind of in the first season Reagan saying, "Look, Mob, you need to think about yourself. You know, you need to do what you want to do." And then at the end of the second season, you have Mob saying that, you know, "I'm doing this because I want you. I'm doing this because I'm thinking of myself." So if you start in the season, like the second season, you might get a wrong impression of the characters, and you might lose a little bit of that growth. But you can still start in the season 2. They're not very interly connected to each other.
Right, and that's kind of what I was going with.
I disagree with you, but alright.
Anyways, so Mob Psycho Season 2 starts off first with establishing our main hero, Mob. He's a reserved little high school. How old is he? High school?
Yes, high school.
Yeah, high school boy. He's very reserved, shy, always afraid of his powers. And in this season, you learn and see the growth of him breaking out of his shell. He starts speaking his mind more. He has more dialogue, and he starts to confront others more and more, which is a good chunk of the first half of the season, first 6 episodes. Then the second half is a nice arc surrounding this one psychic that's bent on world domination. So it really takes a turn. He's got his own organization built on taking over. That was hinted a lot from the first season. So there's your continuity, but it's not totally deep enough where
it's the same organization. So
yeah, it is the same organization. So yeah, animated incredibly well. The last episode alone is just utterly fantastic with action scenes, sequences, sound drops, all of that. You really get a sense for how much more power Mob is capable of, and his mental growth coincides with even his psychic growth. So it's pretty cool. What'd you guys think of it? Because I absolutely loved it. I would recommend this season and season 1 on top of it for anyone that wants an action show and a comedy.
Yeah, I mean there's the thing, right? Season 2 is it's still got its comedic elements, but season 2 kind of shifts the focus to try to be a little bit more serious than season 1 was. In my opinion, for the better, because the first, the first 3 episodes of Mob Psycho season 1, I didn't like the show at all. I thought the internet humor, like Japanese internet humor, I thought it was weak at best, but it really grew on me over time. So I still
you
ended
said
up
season 1?
Season 1,
2
yes.
here?
No, season
Okay.
1.
Okay.
Because at the first couple episodes of season 1 is just nothing but comedy whatsoever.
Right.
So and I didn't like that because I think the comedy was kind of weak, at least at that point. It starts to come to its own during season 1, and I ended up really enjoying it. But as far as I'm concerned, I vastly prefer season 2.
Yes, I think what season 1 was lacking was just a hint and a direction of a more serious tone to make those comedic elements and moments even more meaniful. I think it flowed much better this season in season 2. And the story arcs, whether it was episodic or spanning multiple episodes, everything made sense to the wider range of what's going on in this world, who Mob is. It improved in all aspects that you want to see in a sequel. Because usually when you have a show that a vast audience quite enjoyed in season 1, it's kind of hard to top that. Usually in anime, we get a lot of sequels that just don't live up to that same bar again, and it just kind of continues with a flow. Mob stepped up its game for the better. I was very impressed. It was quite a ride. A lot of people talking about its emotional cues in the show, really hitting them hard. And I'm a man, so I don't feel like that, obviously.
Oh, of course, yes. Only testosterone here.
That's right.
We only really care about the body improvement club here. We only lift weights.
Yeah. We're so mainly you can see us as background characters in Feast of the North Star.
Right, yeah, exactly.
From time to time.
I think I really thought with the way season 2 was starting and where it was going to head was Mob's more romantic focus rather than his mental focus, right? I thought the whole season was going to head down the path of he's going to go, work towards asking out the girl of his dreams, his childhood friend, especially with, I believe it was episode 2 or 3, where he kind of gets that quote-unquote girlfriend, and he helps her out from being bullied or, whatnot. And it didn't go that direction. It was just more of a teaser of him breaking out of his shell, and I really like this direction.
Yeah.
And it really opens it up for a third season, or fourth or fifth, or what have you, you can still go in that direction, right? You don't have to just immediately bang bang. They could have done that in like an episode, and then it just doesn't hit as hard. This could be a whole arc for another season, and it could be.
Yes, but there's just
Might
one.
be, but doesn't
one
look
problem.
like it's the direction.
There's one problem. The manga ended.
Well,
so that was the end. One decided to end Mob Psycho so that he could focus on One Punch Man.
One Punch Man, and then he went a 2 years hiatus.
wait, so there isn't more after this? Like this was all the Mob we're gonna get?
There's 100 chapters of Mob Psycho, and at least for now, there's 100 chapters of Mob Psycho, and I think the final fight starts at like chapter 94. So yeah, that's it.
So this season 2
Yep.
pretty much concluded everything.
For what is right now, for
what
manga,
is
yes.
written.
What is out?
Okay.
One is a weird man.
Okay.
So like he said, "Oh no, I'm not doing more Mob Psycho because I want to focus on One Punch Man." And then he decided to go on a 2-year hiatus and work in a combini for some reason.
Yeah.
He's
a strange
It doesn't
guy.
make a lot of sense. Yeah, he's just a strange.
Well,
dude.
I mean-
regardless, if he does decide to come back to Mob Psycho and write more, that there is more you can go
yeah.
with,
Oh yeah.
which is really nice
yeah,
to see.
yeah. I mean,
I just don't
it
think
closed
it will.
with a very My Hero Academia kind of ending, with like a professional psychic appearing, right? And he says, "Oh, all those people fighting, they are illegals."
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of path. There's a path built.
Yeah.
Mob Psycho
it
100
ended-
vigilantes.
Yeah. So for what we got, in
It's
season
it's
2,
already
it was a very satisfying ending, and it leaves your audience wanting more, and that more is available if the time comes. So I believe I ended up giving season 2 here a 9 out of 10.
Same, actually.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I
Like,
think I gave it an 8.
to put it this way, I kind of like where it stands right now, because right now, well, no direct correlations, but the ending of Mob Psycho feels like another ending that I'm very fond of. Not in the same way, not that I do anything similar, but it reminds me of what I felt when I watched Cowboy Bebop, because if you know the ending of that, you'll know that you technically could do more, and a lot of people do want more. But god damn it, I love that ending still.
It was a good ending.
Yeah, you need to not give the what's the name of the anime right now? Escaping me. Lelouch kind of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
with an ending which is it's a really good ending. it's over, and then it's haha, no, it's not. Come back.
It's
for
over.
the third
Actually, season 3. I mean, but you could still, as long as there's obviously a thing to do, you could still do another season. There's just one problem, especially when you're talking something like Code Geass, where there is one very clearly established main character, which, what do you do now? Well, you know what you have to do now, and no one wants that.
All right, Tori. So we all recommend Mob Psycho 100 Season 2. What is your second anime for review for our fourth one on the list here? What do you got?
My second anime for review is another one that I talked about earlier, and that is Maho Shoujo Tokushusen Asuka, or Magical Girl Spec Ops Asuka. And the synopsis is, due to the invasion of Disas, enigmatic creatures of soil from the land of the dead, mankind, who was on the verge of crisis, was saved by the efforts of magical girls who had obtained a mysterious magical power. 3 years later, new incidents suddenly occur, tearing apart the normalcy of the girls who had each returned to their normal lives. The endeavors of humanity, the saviors of humanity, those magical girls called the Magical Five, now live each day for fighting for their lives.
My God, Tori, just read the Anime Planet.
No,
summaries.
There's nothing problem. There's no problem here. I'm just fucking it up because fucking.
No, it's not your fault. It's always Mal's.
Sure, fighting for that, even as they're trifle with fate. Anyways, besides, this actually wasn't from my anime list. It's from Manga Helpers. So, anyways,
You're killing me here.
Yeah, basically, it's about magical girls who kill giant stuffed teddy bears to save humanity, and occasionally they also kill people, and sometimes people try to kill them. It's
Indeed, and sometimes they torture women.
They often torture, actually.
Very well animated.
When you start to wonder, when it's just like, I'm gonna make you really sensitive, and I'm like, I feel like I've read this somewhere. I feel like I've read this somewhere.
I brought you a dog. And it's just War no Skurumi is the best magical girl.
I feel like I've read this in some sort of fan-made manga type thing somewhere. Sometimes. Anyways, it's essentially this is the fucking epitome of a B movie. It's not what you would conventionally consider good. It's just magical girls murdering and occasionally experience some PTSD or some sort for all the shit they've been through, and at the end also decide to drop some movie references because why not?
I really want to watch Red Scorpion. I really do. Oh my.
I love it though because it's so fucking out of place. They haven't really done anything like that, and then all of a sudden just like, yeah, sure, let's just start name dropping. Why don't we? Fucking, it's hilarious. Nah, the show. This is not what I would call a good show. But goddamn it, I enjoyed this show anyways.
I mean, come on, you have a magical M4 and a magical AK-47.
And a magical flamethrower.
A magical
flamethrower wielded by a Russian who is fucking crazy.
I love it. I love it. Everyone with either a knife or a staff, and then you have the fucking American girl with an M4. It's my magical M4. It's like, oh, sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though as well. Like fucking, I'm really good at close quarters combat. That's why I fight with a knife. Sure. Now you can fight this magical dude in a fucking giant, like, fucking robot armor. Sure. Go for it. Enjoy. Yeah. Nah, I ended up giving this a 7. It's my kind of stuff. It's dumb. It's not conventionally good by any means. I'm not exactly going to claim this as some sort of writing masterpiece, but goddamn, who cares? It's entertaining, okay? So yeah.
Alrighty.
Hickey?
Yes. Next one I'll talk about is Gotobun no Hanayome. And thankfully they changed the synopsis on my anime list, and there's a small synopsis before the big synopsis, which reads, a A high school romantic comedy with 5 times the cute girls. Oh my god, this is bad. This started really bad. A high school boy must work part-time to help 5 sisters study so they can graduate. But the only thing these quintuplets have in common is that they all hate studying. So yeah, that's basically it. Just like Tori said, the show wasn't very good, and the animators are actually complaining now because of the photography used in the show and scene composition. But it's my kind of show as well. It is a wholesome harem. The animation could be better. It's basically a guy called Wisuge, and he's very poor. So he gets his part-time job to help 5 sisters, studying so they can graduate. He earns a lot of money so he can help his family, and the catch is he knows one of the sisters already, but he doesn't know who because they are quintuplets. They, met each other when they were kids, and he dreams of, marrying this person.
Nisekoi god.
It is close to Nisekoi, but Nisekoi is bad.
No,
this one is
really?
actually good. It actually learned from Nisekoi mistakes. Let's put it like that, and corrected a bunch of them.
I mean, has it ended
I
yet?
really enjoy the manga. I know, but what I'm talking about. Come on. The girls actually compete. They are not a bunch of dumb fucks and things like that. It's really hard to, choose a side and things like that. Like every harem should be. It's very hard to choose a girl because every one of them are good. And you want them, and the main character actually has a personality, which is a little bit uncommon when it comes to those kinds of shows. So yeah, it's just that. It's a wholesome harem, very cute moments, very cute girls. Really hard to choose the best one, although I have my best one. But that's about it. I think I gave it a 7 or 6. I know it has almost an 8 in my anime list, but I think I gave it a 6. There's a few animation issues with the anime. The music's not outstanding. It's just that kind of anime. Just like Red Line, if you feel like watching a harem show, this one is a good one.
Alrighty.
And I think I'm the only one who watched it. So
Yeah,
Here,
I was not a part of this.
I had to save up my
Yeah,
energy for We Never Learned this season, so...
Oh, yeah, and Midari Ao-chan can study.
No, fuck that show.
You're not... Oh my god, that show is 100% great.
Okay. Alright. So, my second review is over an anime that started in the fall and then just ended this winter. It's called Run with the Wind. It spans 23 episodes by Production IG. And I'll just read the Anime Planet synopsis. Just get everyone caught up here. In case you forgot what the show is about. One chilly March day, Kansai University, 4th year Kiyoshi Haji encounters Kakaru running uncommonly fast through the streets and forces him into living at a dorm. Haji has a dream and ambition. He became discouraged after suffering an injury in high school. All he wants to do is run again. He wants to participate in the Hakone Ekiden, which is a long-distance race that's really hard and shows off running ability he's been pursuing, but he only has 1 year left to do it and turn basically everyone in the dorm a part of this racing team. And it's about these group of guys kind of trying to find their place in the world, and they use training to qualify for this race, and then the race itself as basically achieving their own sense of victory. Whether one character is struggling to find a job, he's in his last year of college, and he at first uses running with this team as something to just simply add to his resume. He's also kind of roped into it by Haji. Haji, kind of either guilt trips a bunch of the guys or finds some way to motivate them to actually be a part of this. It's a nice wholesome story about all these guys coming together and becoming, by all intents and purposes, a cohesive unit, team, and friends. it's because it spans 23 episodes, it really treads the line of this is fucking slow. Which is counterintuitive because it's an anime about running fast. But anyways, not a lot happens at a quick pace. It's very methodical about, how much they have to build up their stamina, how much their own mentality plays into why are they doing this, what's even the point. That's even one of the conflicts later down the line where they go, well, if we're not going to win at Hakone, why are we doing this in the first place? And it doesn't outright tell you these answers to a lot of these inner conflicts that's going on. And for those that just want to do something they love, at least from a sports perspective, take my own example, bowling-wise. I know I'm not going to be the best pro in the world, or even more than an amateur pro at this point, right? I'm 31, but why am I still bowling? Well, because it's fun, and I want to see how far I can take myself, even if that's not winning every single tournament here, like every time, right? I can't let that discourage me from continuing to do something I love. And that's what Haiji is trying to get across to everybody, that even if we're not going to win every race or even a single race, as long as we are having fun doing it and it's something we love doing, isn't that worth it in itself? So that message really came across to me on a personal level. Just the pace of it was just really slow, and it really got irritating at times. It does all come together when they do, spoiler, they do get to Hakone. They do all get into the qualifiers and qualify for it. And, there's other teams that get in their way and say those same things, like, why are you running if you can't win? Well, it's not always about winning kind of deal, and I quite enjoyed that message. In the last 4 episodes, I believe it's 4, where they're all racing, and because it's essentially a relay race, it focuses on each individual character and how they've come to terms with their journey to getting to this point, and them just running this small stretch at Hakone gets a good character arc to end for each one. It's really nice. It's a nice story. Did any of you guys watch this?
Nope.
No.
No. All right.
But I know a lot of people were watching it when it started, but I believe the drop rate was really high as well.
Yeah, and that's
from
because
the
of
middle to the
that's
ending.
probably because of how slow everything progressed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a really high rating on Mal, and I know fucking our anime loves the shit out of it, so.
Well, I mean, on Anime Planet, I mean, it's got above an 8 out of 10 pretty much.
Yeah, same with Mal.
It's just like I don't recall people talking that well. I said Crunchyroll, but Crunchyroll was just shields everything. I don't remember people really talking about like the last thing, because some shows usually people get really hyped out, and even if it's small minority, like it's a small group, although in Run of the Wind wasn't a small group, it was like a medium-sized group. They are really vocal about it from beginning to end, and Run with the Wind kind of died out. At least the talking about it. I don't go to Reddit.
Yeah.
I think Reddit it has a bunch of. I will not say what I was about to say. So because this is a family-friendly podcast.
Is it?
So we don't
Shit.
say those kind of things.
Fuck. Wait, no, fuck,
Yeah,
fuck,
like,
no.
What I was about to say was way too heavy for the kind of podcast we are having here. So like at least in my groups, people kind of died out of the discussion either because they didn't feel like discussing it or they dropped it. So that's basically it. But you said it teaches you that victory is not everything. But by your description, I say it's quite the contrary. It teaches you that victory is indeed everything. But sometimes victory over yourself is the most important thing that winning a race.
Oh, okay, yeah. That is a very good.
So
point to
I
make, for
believe
sure.
it's just like the guys went from let's do our best to qualify in the race to I'm here and this is really good. You know, I surpassed it myself, or what I thought I could be able to do, and that's a win over yourself.
That's just that loser mentality speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Ayrton Senna fan, and he always said that winning is everything. If you're second, you're the first of the losers. So that's my kind of mentality. So I guess I don't agree with
Yeah.
the people who run with the win. I would get very frustrated. But yeah, still, the victory over yourself it's a very good punchline. Let's put it like that to an anime, and you know, it's a sport. A lot of people like sport anime.
Sure.
And I'm glad it has a 8 out of 10 in most of the sites. Looks like the show that would have it.
I think what I would have preferred is the main character to be Haiji over Kakeru. Kakeru has a lot of... He's quick to anger. He suffers from like punching his coach in the past because he was an asshole. Been there myself. We've all, if you've done, not punching the coach physically, but everyone who's done a sport at one point, I guarantee, has had a coach they absolutely hate.
Yeah, I quit
just
my
don't
football
like-
team for that.
Right? And and I wish the story was from Haiji's perspective rather than Kakeru's, because Haiji felt like he was the main character, but because the perspective was more towards Kakeru, I think the story suffered from that quite a bit, actually, because Kakeru was very silent most of the time, and whenever there was interaction of him going with the other members of the team, there was just something off of him just kind of being silent and more or less angry all the time, and him not getting getting that message from Haiji that winning isn't everything, right? You got to win over yourself and your emotions first. In terms of Kakeru, I would have liked to see, or definitely would have preferred to see Haiji more one-on-one and his perspective of all of this, since he was the crux of the team, the crux of the dorm, the one that got everyone together. He was the leader. So instead of having all this Kakeru awkward moments of one-on-one with all the other characters, I wish there was more time with Haiji. Just felt like it was the wrong character for the story to focus on. But regardless, the message was still there and very strong, and Haiji did play in a very important role to the story. Luckily, the way the show ends really focused on each character rather than just Kakeru, and that was something I was afraid of going into that final arc. It was just going to be Kakeru's section. They were going to gloss over everyone else's, and they didn't do that. So I very much commend it. I mean, it could have ended at 20, 18, 19 episodes, right? But they went the extra mile and gave us a lot of character progression and good conclusions to them all. It was well done. I think 8 out of 10 is a little high. I'm definitely in between that 7-8 range, though. If I could
7.5.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10 for sure. But I can't do that on Mallor Anime Planet. So that was Run with the Wind. I do recommend it for people that want something a bit on the slower side and want more of a team message rather than a heart-pumping action type sports anime.
Something that doesn't feel like it's straight out of the 60s.
Sure. All right, Tori, your last one.
My last one,
This is the one you replaced with Dororo.
Yeah, the one that everyone's so excited for. Now we're finally revealing it. Drum roll, please. Actually, don't do that. I said don't do it. The show that I replaced... Excuse you?
Yeah, you can keep going.
Would you like to say that again for the entire class?
No. You can go.
Okay.
I mean, it has a feel, you know, it has a connection to the show you're gonna reveal.
Yes.
But
Yes, it does. So, the show that I'm going to be talking about is Domestic Nakanojo, or Domesticated Girlfriend. Mm-hmm. The show that by a lot of people was dubbed the spiciest show of this season. Which
Oh,
is
the spiciest?
Yeah, I still don't really get that. I think people have very low standards, but sure. So,
Yes.
anyways, the synopsis goes, Natsuo Fuji is in love with his teacher, Hina. Attempting to forget his feelings towards her, Natsuo goes to a mixer with his classmates, where he meets an odd girl named Rui Tachibana. In a strange turn of events, Rui asks Natsuo to sneak out with her and do her a favor. To his surprise, their destination is Rui's house, and her request is for him to have sex with her. There's no love behind the act. She just wants to learn from experience. Thinking that it might help him forget about Hina, Natsuo hesitantly agrees. After his unusual encounter, Natsuo now faces a new problem. With his father remarrying, he ends up with a new pair of stepsisters. Unfortunately, he knows these two girls a little too well. He soon finds out his new siblings are none other than Hina and Rui. Now living with both the teacher he loves and the girl with whom he had his first time, Natsuo finds himself in an unexpected love triangle as he climbs ever closer towards adulthood. So yes, this is a story of a guy who fucks a girl and is in love with his teacher, and ends up being related to all of them at the end. So it's like pseudo incest, but not really because they're not related.
It sounds like the definition of trash.
That's what everyone said. That's what I thought as well. But you know what?
I still think the show is very dumb.
It is dumb. It is for sure dumb.
I watched the whole thing.
Same.
And every time I watched an episode, I just finish it and said, "Good Lord, this was very dumb. I cannot wait the next episode."
It's not that.
Because
It's
the story, it's the narration, it's the storytelling. The storytelling is dumb, and it uses a few tropes.
It uses a lot of tropes.
It's not a trope. It's more of a situation to launch a conflict that is way too forced. The one like the photograph at the end, for example, it's just dumb. Like, oh, our relationship is a secret. We should, leave it as a secret so we can, enjoy ourselves. By the way, let's just have sex in the veranda where everyone can see us.
It's not smart. No, I mean, I get that. There was some controversy around that, especially because the original author was not all that happy with this, because that is apparently anime original. Yeah, there is some controversy surrounding this show as well, which just makes it even better in my opinion. I enjoyed this show because, the way this show handles it, or what this show essentially tries to be, it's kind of like, if you think you could think like After the Rain from a couple seasons ago,
right.
Kind of like that. And more like looking at a more immoral relationship. And more, or at least not socially acceptable. It's not at all the same, because, After the Rain at least tries to have some sort of emotion in this, and this one is kind of like, look at this, I bang my teacher, fuck yeah, high five, and I banged her sister as well, so yeah, and, it's...
Good God.
It's definitely more trashy in that regard. But it's still nice, right? Because for me it was the story of a guy who fell in love with his teacher, and then through some fucking miracle ended up getting her to break up. Shit. Ended up getting her to break up with her boyfriend, which was having an affair on his wife with the main character's teacher, and then they apparently fell in love with each other somewhere along the line. So he boned her, and then they got exposed, and then it turns out that she had to leave, and he had to learn, and he finally got to lock himself in his room and then develop his writing skills, so he can now become a novelist, which he has always wanted to, and at least always, as long as we've known him. So yeah, it's a fairly simple show. It's more of a trashy romance show than a heartfelt one. But it's a good show, it's a good story. And it has what ended up in the end being my favorite opening of the season. Because that opening is so good. So yeah, I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10, yes.
Oh my God,
7.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good show. I genuinely think it's a good show.
I don't believe you.
No, it really is a good show.
There's no way. There's no
No.
way it's that good.
No, it has a 7.24 on Mal.
Oh, it means nothing to me.
It means that people like it. And I'm not the only one. And I'll take
It
it.
has a 3.863 out of 5 from Anime Planet. What does that make? Is that close?
3.5. 3.5. No, that's actually higher. 3,
Jesus Christ, Anime Planet. I'm always talking your praises.
Because 3.5 is 7, so...
I mean, it's dumb.
It is.
Although
it's good.
People were exaggerating a little bit. They're like, "Oh, this is the spiciest thing. Oh, he fucked his stepsister. Oh my god!" I'm like, just looking at here and looking at my shelf and seeing just 10 volumes of kisses just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, I guess those people are never exposed to the real thing.
I guess they're not even real anime fans.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I miss those days.
Kisses just looks at me like, why are you watching it? You have all the OVAs downloaded in your PC. Why are you not rewatching Kisses? It's like, I'm sorry, it's just, I swear I'm not betraying you. I still think you are the spiciest thing.
No, but like, you know what? I miss those days. I miss when that used to be a thing. Like you weren't officially considered an anime fan until you watched KSXS. Those were the days.
Oh yeah, until you watch it, Evangelion, Kiss X's, and Bible Black.
You can't be an anime fan before you.
I definitely
And
agree with
Boku
Bible.
no
I
Pico.
definitely agree with Bible Black for sure.
And Boku no Pico. Let's not forget about
Yeah.
Boku no
I mean,
Pico.
I don't know. Boku no Pico is again a fucking controversial statement, but Boku no Pico is not as. It's not what everyone makes it out to be.
Oh, you almost said that. Oh,
It's not what
you
everyone
almost
makes
said
it out to be. I was about to say it's not as bad. I mean, it's technically legal, but apart from that, apart from that, it's not everything people make it out to be.
Yeah, no. Just the first OVA has pedophilia. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
That's
the
what I
second
mean.
and third one
It's
are just little kids raping other little
exactly,
kids.
but that's my point, Icky. If you just take out all the illegal stuff, it's not that bad.
Oh my god.
You said it. Move it on.
Icky, what is your last one?
The last one, my last show is Ueno-san wa Bukyo, or How Clumsy Are You, Miss Ueno?
Very.
She's not that clumsy.
Yes. I mean, she's very clumsy,
Nah,
especially
come
by the
on.
end. When she's like, her twin tails are just erect. Just
Well, she's a
anyway.
girl in Heat, Hickey.
true. And she has some really, really good kinks. She's too good for Tanaka, let's be, honest. Anyway, the synopsis on my anime list is very dumb, but still. Ueno-san, who is in her third year of junior high school, is in love with the concept of falling in love. She makes full use of her inventions and tries to show off to Tanaka, her science club kohai. So basically, it's just like this girl. She's a genius, and she makes a bunch of inventions to, get closer to Tanaka. But usually, those inventions they kind of involve some kind of fetish, and the
They
heavy
sure do.
kind. So it wasn't expected. Let's put like that. Even High Dive moderators were impressed by this show. It wasn't what I was expecting. It started strong with her like filtering her pee and saying, "Yo, Tanaka, this is clean water, drink it." She was like from there to giving life to her pantyhose, so Tanaka can, I don't know, hug it. Oh my god, this show is so dumb. I really love it. This is probably my favorite show of last season. I really enjoyed it.
More than Mob Psycho?
Mob Psycho, because since it's the second season, it sits in a different category for me.
Okay. New show.
Yeah,
okay.
new show.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, Clumsy Ueno was funny. Like, it's a short, so it wasn't a big time investment. It was really nice just to quickly put on an episode, and it was over before I knew it, and I just found myself laughing every time. The
No, yeah.
The random
At least
fetishes,
one of the jokes you would just laugh.
Yeah, the
out
random
of it.
fetishes and kinks that Ueno would come up with. It's like, yes, I have created an invention, and it takes my underwear
Yeah.
sweat or what it was, random stuff you can think of.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, she makes a robot, and the robot just start going full on Tanaka if she likes Ueno and things like that. But yeah, it's interesting because although it's a short and it's a fairly simple show, it's just a girl making those really weird inventions like a censorship bar to a
Right.
naked woman and things like that. Although you have that premise, it's very simple. You still have some kind of development in the characters, and they developed a lot through the series, except Tanaka, because Tanaka is Tanaka. Ueno gets even more bold, and her boldness start getting some results. Tanaka start, to go on her segues.
Right.
And Yamashita, which is the other club member, start getting very, very angry with everyone. So when Ueno's plan actually works, and Tanaka goes for it, Ueno kind of holds back, and Yamashita just like, no, you're going all the way in now, because she's so pissed about drinking pee and peeing herself because of stuff. She just blew off. It's great. Also, her books, she always reading, and it starts with like some romance or things like that, and it ends by I think the last book she was reading was like how to build a shelter and find water in a post-apocalyptic
I never noticed.
Fallout.
I never took notice to what
Yeah,
she was reading.
she started with like manuals for dummies, like for dummy people, and romances, and like I think at episode 6 she's reading about a book about quantum physics, and then about surviving the apocalypse and things like that.
And then
It also escalates the books.
and then
It is
she would
great.
go
It is a
on
great
to
show.
make Bunny Girl Senpai.
Yeah, it is a good it is a actual good show, and it's half length, 12 minutes episode. Very fun. There was at least one joke every episode. I was laughing
Yes.
a
Yes.
lot. The rest of just jiggles. Every character that was introduced, they were actually also very fun. So yeah, it's a show I recommend, and just
If you're looking for a raunchy comedy, this one was a slam dunk for what it wanted to be,
Yeah, I couldn't watch it.
and it's
Well, to
available
be-
on High Dive.
Yeah, I just couldn't watch it because the season before we had Asobi said that I was laughed out.
You were out of laughs.
Yep, I had no more laughs to give.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch at least one High Dive show each season, or at least give them a try. Because I do like High Dive. I like their business model. I love their player. I like their site. It's very easy to navigate. I love it much more than Crunchyroll. And Hickey, you recommended Ueno. It was a good show. It was. I like raunchy comedy. Whether it's Ranma. What are some others? There's a bunch of like 80s anime that
it is in
do that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And also it's very distorted as well, with a bunch of fetishes and things you shouldn't do with a person you like. So it's great for people like us.
You're not wrong. I do
Deviants, all of you.
That does, yeah. I am a deviant.
Just like, oh my god, Ueno sits on the fucking butt plug looking thing. I was losing it. I started losing it because of the face she made.
A lot of good.
And
jokes.
Yamashita is just like, President, it's okay. It's just tangled in your panties. It didn't went all the way in. Like, oh my god. Tanaka just goes around to look at it. Yamashita just blows off. Oh, it's great. It's a great show. Great jokes.
Alrighty. And the last one to discuss is The Promised Neverland.
Yeah, I heard no one liked that show.
Oh yeah, nobody?
Yeah.
I don't know what nobodies you were talking about and talking to.
Nobody.
Weekly shonen show. Kind of putting the battle shonen to the side and more focusing on an overarching story that's progressive. So it focuses on a bunch of orphans being taken care of at an orphanage by a motherly person who they all adore. And by the age of 13, they can be adopted. They have to be adopted by the age of 13. So anytime in between there, between when they arrive at the orphanage till their 13th birthday, they're off to the races. Well, in the first episode, you find out right away that it's actually a ploy because they're in a world that's controlled by these monster alien-like creatures, and the orphanage is actually a harvest farm where they pretty much eat the kids' brains. And that's why they every day they take tests, various tests, on these high-tech computer devices, and it develops their brains. Because the smarter you are, the better it tastes.
Or so they say.
So they say. And you once the kids find out after that first episode, the rest of the time, you have your three main characters, and they're the oldest among the group. You have your kind of emo boy, you have your smart boy, and then you have your spunky girl. So it's those three characters. And they're devising a plot to escape from the farm, and how they're going to successfully escape, live outside the world. You know, what is this world we actually live in? And they slowly recruit a lot of the other kids to join them, or trick the other kids because they're too young and they probably won't understand, you know, or not believe them. There's always that fear. Meanwhile, the caretaker, the mom, is playing the villain antagonist to try and stop them. So it's a good cat and mouse game that's developed. And going into this, I was worried that they were going to leave it on just a horrible cliffhanger, you know, just not conclude on a good note to really get people to want another season, right? That was a legit fear I had. I thought, you know, are they ever going to escape? Or are they just going to stop it before anything happens significant, right? They didn't do that. It ends on a fantastic note that really wants you wanting more.
It essentially ends on an arc end, which is, you know, ultimately where you want it to end.
Yes,
if
exactly.
it's going to end. And then, I mean, but it wouldn't, like, in this case, it technically wouldn't have mattered that much. The only reason why I'm saying that is because literally, like, I think like a few days before they air the final episodes, they announced that, yes, there is a second season already in the making.
Yeah. Because of that announcement, I felt like the ending was a little bit lackluster, in my opinion.
Really, what was lackluster about?
I guess like because you know they're like, oh, the second season is coming in 2020, and the ending was basically a huge. Well, see you in 2020 then.
See you next time.
So you know, for me,
I think it's more than that. I wouldn't say the ending is just see you next time, but it's like. I do kind of agree with you, mostly because, like, I don't know, probably, you know, my cynical self and hearing everybody, because I watched the ending after a lot of other people and hearing about, oh, you're gonna cry. And I watched that episode, and then you get the backstory, and you get a lot of the reason for why stuff happened, and I'm just sitting there like, wait, that's it? Like, that's what had everyone, like, up in arms and crying fucking anime at the ear? Like, come on.
I mean, I didn't get
my friends are also
about
saying that. My friends are also. I also watched the ending, you know, like a few days after it. I think actually a week after it, you know, released. And my friends were like, "Oh, the ending was great. It was awesome." And I watched it. It was like, well, since the second season is already announced, I felt that it was a little bit lackluster, but I was content. Basically, I wasn't sad, I wasn't happy, I was content. It was a good show.
I like what they did
especially
with it. Doesn't.
There's a few parallels you can make, like between the beginning, the middle, and the ending. And you know, you see it. They make sure you can see those parallels.
Yes.
And you know, you watch it. It's fine. I was content. Even if there wasn't a second season, I would be happy with how it ended. I just think that announcing the second season before the show actually ended makes the ending a little bit of like.
I wasn't aware of the announcement until I finished the credits, and that's when it said season 2 come in 2020.
Yeah.
It sounds like people really overhyped the ending for you guys.
Well, yes.
I didn't get any of that. What I got was, whether or not the kids escaped or not is neither here nor there. It ended the arc. Everything came together the way you wanted it to, and there was a nice little backstory mixed in, which I don't think the manga really touched on as deep as the anime did. So that really got me. It hooked me into what else is going to happen at this orphanage in this next arc, or are they just going to focus on the kids going from there? Will it be both? You know, what are they going to do different than the manga, which I'm really into.
There's the thing, right? Because here's where that's where I agree with you. A lot of people were having problems with the anime because, as you know, this is the usual stuff. You read the manga, you like the manga, and then you see the anime, and then they change stuff for the anime, and that's bad because you can't ever change anything from the manga because the manga is God, right? But the things that people were complaining were missing was stuff that I'm so glad that they removed. Like, everyone's like, oh, they didn't include the inner monologue that they have in the manga where you can always tell what everyone's thinking. And I'm like, good. That's like every shonen ever made. Right. Every shonen has you living inside their minds, knowing whatever they're thinking at any given time. I don't need that. I want the suspense. I want the fucking shock when something happens. Not to basically have known about this for like the last fucking 2-3 episodes because they've told me like a million times already because they thought it.
Yeah, Promise Neverland didn't do that. It was a great example of show don't tell. All the time. The suspense was spot on from beginning, middle to end. It all came together in a nice little package, and I was left wanting more. What they took out of the manga and added to the anime, I thought was really well done. It didn't detract from what I read and what I watched. It was a good blend, and it really made watching the anime feel different than the manga, and I love both. You can love both.
Yeah, I know. Nah, but that's.
Yeah. I mean, No, you can conclude.
Yeah, no, okay. So basically what I was just going to say is, like, that's kind of the thing, right? When you adapt something, an adaptation is exactly that. It's an adaptation. It's not the same. It's not the manga again, right? And I've said this before, but like, there is nothing worse than an adaptation of a manga that is just nothing but, like, no original idea, no creative spin on anything, just literally straight panel for panel manga. Here you go. That is, like, those are extremely boring to watch. But people love them because my sacred manga.
Yeah, I remember the discussion we had in the podcast before, and it was a really good discussion. I don't remember which episode it is. I believe it's in the range of the first 10 episodes.
Probably.
But yeah, no, I guess the really big difference between the manga and the anime, which I believe would make me like the manga more, is the same problem I had throughout every episode of this show. And I pointed out when we made the first impressions of Winter 2019, which is the narrative structure of every episode is very simplistic and very similar to each other, where they build a sandcastle throughout the episode, and then someone comes running and just kicks the fucking sandcastle. It's the same structure every single episode, and I think after 2, 3, 6, 12 episodes, it's quite, repetitive and simplistic. Although the episode 11 and 12, they switched it. The bad guys were building the sandcastle, and then the kids just came and kicked it.
Flipped it upside down.
It's still the same. It's still the same structure over and over and over again. I pointed it out when I watched 3 episodes and we gave our first impressions, and I'm talking about that again now. It's, I guess, one of the few things I have problem with. Probably the major thing I have a problem with, Promise Neverland, but I really enjoyed it, and I talked to my friends about it. They all watched it, they all hyped it up, and everyone is, watching it and having fun, which is always a plus when it comes to anime. The enjoyment you can be by discussing it with your friends.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Promised Neverland. I was always in suspense, wanting to this between this and Mob Psycho for me. Every time an episode came out, I had to watch it, and that's also the case for Dororo, but that's ongoing. So, being that I don't have a lot of time as much time as I used to, and yet I still made it a mission to go out of my way to watch these. As soon as I got home from work, or what have you, Promised Neverland lived up to all of my expectations. And someone who's a big fan of the manga, what they changed, as what Tori said, I thought was for the better. It added to the story rather than taking it away. I liked how, speaking of the inner monologue, there wasn't a lot of that in this, so whenever there was a reveal, whenever there was a moment of kicking the sandcastle down, to use Hickey's reference point, I was always wondering what's left of the sandcastle, so they can continue building the next one, and when are they going to stop the bully from kicking it over?
Who is going to kick it?
Maybe they got a second one got a second one on the side. Maybe they're building a sandcastle within the sandcastle. When you kick that first one down, the second one's there. Ah!
I will say this though about the ending.
Okay.
You remember the first episode when the first reveal that happens when you finally get to see the demon.
Mm-hmm.
That was really well done. Because they managed to really make these things appear scary and, monsters, as they are. So I was very disappointing in the ending when they literally just was essentially treated as giant scarecrows that just stood around doing nothing. That was a bit of a, blow to the monsters themselves for me. It was seriously?
Well, it wasn't... This arc wasn't about the demons, right?
No, that is fine. But again, you have them basically all over the place, but they're just standing there out in the sunlight and the fucking whatever it is. No.
I've seen a lot of people. I think the biggest argument I've seen over Promised Neverland is the idea of containment, right? Of these farms, the harvest farms, where the orphanage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do know that there's a wall, there's a gate, and outside that wall, and I don't think this reveals a whole lot, but there's a big ravine. So you can't just you can't just go over the wall and jump to the other side, right? There's a big ravine, so the extra, that's enough for, in the demon's mind, to contain him, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no escape. There's limited supplies, and for all we know, in this time frame, who knows how long has passed between events? It's either no one's escaped, or not enough time has passed, and they just don't have they're just trying to figure out how to contain him in an efficient way. It could be either or, and I really like that. It's not just telling you the answer. It's not just they're cutting to head demon and he goes, it's been 2,000 years and there's never been an escape. Why worry about it now? They don't do that.
Yes, they do not. Now, but that's not my problem. My problem is just the fact that I didn't need to see the monsters standing around for no reason. I feel like that kind of minimizes them. I understand, obviously no one expected the things that happens, but it's still those things. I don't then need to see them standing around basically just being all lit up, completely visible, because that's the problem. They essentially just appear like giant scarecrows at that point. So it's
so you wanted it to continue its kind of Halloween-esque villain persona that the first episode had. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, I think I would have liked to see a little bit more suspense in keeping who the demons are and their figures more of a secret until they become a more prominent role. Yeah, I can agree with that, Tori. That would have been a lot more cool instead of showing them just, all right, guys, go out there and guard the gate, and then they just kind of stand there. It definitely took away a lot of the mystique. I don't disagree with that. So luckily, or not luckily, but I've read quite a bit of the manga, and where the story's heading, it's going to be interesting, and I can't wait for 2020 and more of the show. I definitely recommend it. I probably I think Mob Psycho season 2 is better. I still gave it a 9 out of 10 just because of the fun factor, and I really enjoyed it. Probably deserves more like an 8.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, it's definitely. I was expecting to not like it. I was gonna check it out because it was because a lot of people were talking about it. And it was popular, but as you kind of standard for me in Shonen Jump and whatnot. I don't tend to like everything they do. A lot of stuff I don't like, so I was not really expecting to like it. So in that regard, it was a huge surprise. I did like it, but I ultimately only ended up giving it a 7.
That's still really good, considering that you weren't expecting much going in. You're not the shonen guy.
Yeah.
So that's good praise. Hickey, what about you?
I gave it an 8.
There we go. Yeah, I agree. I agree with the 8 rating. So we're all on the same page with the anime. So the next big one's Dr. Stone in the spring, which we covered on a previous checkout. That's gonna be more. I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean,
that's gonna be interesting.
I haven't watched it, but what I've read from the manga, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna give it a 7, but I will enjoy every single.
You know, I think I might be. That's a hard 7, and it hasn't even released yet. I agree, Hickey.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna read more Dr. Stone later this afternoon. This whole afternoon, I'm dedicating to just watching anime and stuff. But anyways. So before we start making this into a 4-hour cast, just right quick, who is still watching Shield Hero between you two? Because I dropped it, as we know.
I am.
And just quick thoughts over the first half?
I enjoyed it. It's been a good show.
Very standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very standard. It has its merits, but it's very when you set itself quick. I need to be quick. When it sets itself to a certain amount of tropes of a genre, it is highly explored nowadays. It is very hard to get out of the standard. Although it has its own merits, it has its own plot twists and genre twists, it's still not enough to get out of that standard, because every time the fucking main character opens up a menu tab, he goes back to the standard, and it's very prohibitive.
Okay.
So unfortunately, it's very standard. I enjoyed the light novel. I've said that before. The animation is the quality is dropping a little bit. Not enough to worry me about anything. But yeah, that's it. It has its merits, but it's still very standard. Isekai.
Fair enough. Okay. Hickey, are you watching Dororo?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Let's start with Tori. Quick thoughts.
Dororo.
Over the first half of Dororo 2019.
Yeah, Dororo. Basically, we've got to see Yakimaru and him turn, fighting the demons, as well as got to see him go all the way back to meet his family again. So obviously setting itself up for a decent second half. It's been a good ride. I've enjoyed it a lot. I'm pretty big mog for this anyway, so it's been a good ride, and I hope the second half will continue being just as good as the first one's been.
Hickey?
Yeah.
Same.
It's going in strong. I'm a little bit worried about the second half, because the opening introduced a character who looks like
Dororo for me is another show. It's available to be in streaming on Amazon Prime for those that have it. So it's also on Mondays, and that's also been a must-watch for me. Really enjoyed it. I look forward to where it's going, because I've also been watching the original 1969 Dororo incongruent with this,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's true. How it's going? How it's comparing?
it's interesting. Once you get past like episode 4,
It changes everything.
well, it's changing. It's getting rid of a lot of that slapstick that we saw from that era. You know, the Tezuka, Astro Boy, Dororo stuff, where the kooky character is loud and obnoxious, and that's slapstick comedy style. And how they changed him in the new one also changes the mood and flow of the show, and I really do think for the better.
I agree.
It definitely adapts to our era properly, and it also changes up Hyakumaru and how he communicates. It's more realistic rather than he just knows how to talk. So that's also for the better. There are a lot of improvements for 2019 Dororo, and also the flow of the show and how it handles its episodic nature, but it's a continuing arc story, which is quite nice. The original 69 version, it seems kind of all over the place and too episodic. So that's a big improvement in this 2019 one. So where they're heading in the second half is going to be more interesting, because the 1969 version, I think it's only translated on YouTube up until episode 14. So I'll have to try to find another source for the others. Yeah, the rest of it, because I'm definitely enjoying both shows. But I gotta say, I'm enjoying this new one even more.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bigger like attention to detail. A lot of stuff that like weren't really worried about back in the 60s. Just, obviously stuff that they have to worry more about now. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of signs of that in the new adaptation of Dororo. And again, like I said, I really enjoy artistic creativity, like creative freedom, and that's really apparent in Dororo. You need it because it's not exactly. It would never fit in order to just make a straight up adaptation of Dororo at this point. No one would watch that. No one would enjoy it.
Yep. Yeah, just finishing my thought. It's just like I'm a little bit bored with the second half because the opening has this generic filler-esque villain appearing. So, I feel like it might drop the quality of the writing a little bit for that filler and then just pick it up the rest of the story. That's my only concern.
That's a very fair
Asian
concern.
Asian Kung Fu Generations making the new opening as well.
It's Naruto all over again.
And then our last one here, just want to mention something I wanted to mention is Kakegurui XX, the second season of Kakegurui. It's not available on Netflix yet, and I haven't watched any of it to date. So I don't know whether it's something I want to discuss in the spring or just wait till it's out on Netflix. So that's just where I'm heading with this show for now. Tori, did you finish it by any chance? Hickey, did you?
Yeah, I finished it.
No. And by the way, I don't really care because I don't think I will watch Kakegurui XX.
All right, then.
Like, the more I think about it, it's just like, the more I think, the less I feel like watching it.
I'd
Especially
say
because the first season had that awkward original ending, and then they announced the second season. So I'm just fine. I guess I'm just fine with the first season and how it ended.
It's like, again, there's no need to watch the second season. Like, I watched it because I enjoyed the first one. It got a bit repetitive, but I still enjoyed it. And then, what's the second season? More to say?
All right, that was going to be my question. That was going to be my question. Is it the same cast still?
Same cast, same main cast, but like they introduced like a whole different. They introduced a whole Momobami family now. So the president of the student council, Kirari, her family entirely comes in, and then Kirari is just like, sure, let's do the only thing logical next step here. Let's just gamble away everything. Let's gamble away rule of the Momobami family, as well as the state of president of the student council. And how are we going to do this? Everyone's going to participate, and it's going to be like a public gambling for votes. So that's essentially the entire second season.
Okay, so the stakes are high.
It doesn't conclude. Just so there is no.
I imagine it wouldn't.
Yeah.
I imagine it wouldn't conclude because the manga is still ongoing. Yeah, so I think, Tori, you and I will discuss more Kakegurui XX either when it drops on Netflix or at a later date when I have a chance to watch it. Deal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And if there was any other shows you wanted to talk about, well then I guess hit us up Twitter at BowlingJD, RLR Tori, Mightiest of Hickeys. Just hit us all up, see what else you'd like us to talk about. And with that, let's move on to our anime review of New Dominion Tank Police.
I want to live! Take me with you! Take me away from here!
Alright. I did my One Piece drop for you guys.
Yeah, I loved it.
You loved it, oh my god.
Yeah. I can't hear it, but yes.
Yeah. That was a nice long winter review, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. But now it's time for our review. This is why we're all here. It is New Dominion Tank Police by Studio JC Staff, directed by Noboru Furuse, whom did Aim for the Ace 2. And but he's mostly a character designer. A lot of his work is character designing.
Yep.
So you know his style. This is originally created by Masamune Shiro, better known for Ghost in the Shell and Appleseed. Yeah, Ghost of the Shell. Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed, and among others. This was released in October 1993. It's an OVA series that spans 6 episodes and is a sequel to Dominion. All right.
So, just to clarify, JD told us to watch New Dominion Tank Police, and even though it's a sequel, and I have not seen Dominion.
You don't need to see Dominion.
I looked at it, and I considered it, but I was like, you know what? No, fuck you. JD said New Dominion Tank Police.
That's right.
Therefore, if that becomes a problem, I'm going to roast him on the goddamn podcast because I'm going to skip out on Dominion. It was not a problem.
It was not a problem.
Maybe you could have minor complaints with some stuff, because there are stuff they expect you to know, usually in regards to characters, but other than that,
not really.
I mean, they treat every character as they know each other.
Dude, you should watch Dominion Tank Police. One, because it's fun. It's actually
the original
fun.
Dominion is fun.
Yeah, the original Dominion is fun. You also can see the changes between the character designs, and also you can see the evolution of Leona going from a respectable policewoman in the first part of the 80s OVA to a woman dressing in a bunny girl outfit torturing some guys to a happy trigger motherfucker with a Mac 10 just shooting people in the streets randomly with a tank.
She adapts very well to joining the tank police.
Yeah, she adapted very well. But also, like, there are a few informations from the setting of the world you might not get. You know, they explain that in the 80s one, like how there's a bacteria in the air and everyone is technically sick.
Yeah, that would be the only thing you're really missing about the world, but that's not really
why there's a tank police. They also explain that. They explain like the opening of the OVAs from the 80s
it was
is
a
like
monologue, yeah.
The 80s OVA, you have the mayor and the police chief discussing, and the police chief goes, only 5% of the of the civilian deaths are caused by tank warfare. And by the end of the OVAs, you learn that only the police use tanks. So like,
yeah, that is some funny backstory information. Yeah,
and you also have the more prominent best girls, which are the Cat sisters.
The Puma sisters are the Puma sisters are blonde chicks in the original. So they get a character design, and so does Leona. I do like the character designs more in the 90s one, but let's continue from there with the summary from Anime Planet of New Dominion Tank Police. In the futuristic city of Newport, so not confused with Newport, Rhode Island, the crime rate is so high that only police armed with tanks, can handle these things. Meet Leona and her partner Al. Proud members of the tank police. Together with their mini-tank Bonaparte, they fight crime on the streets of Newport, while simultaneously causing havoc in the process. Their old enemy, Buaku, may not be around anymore, so that was your enemy from the 80s.
Yep, and he has a very nice story actually.
Yeah, Buaku's
it's all
creepy.
shitty. Like the 80s is way shittier, and it doesn't. It's not serious enough. But then when it goes to the Buaku story, it gets really dark and really serious for some reason.
Yeah. But there are still other criminals to chase and plenty of objects to be blown up. Whether it be dealing with the Puma sisters, who make an amazing comeback, by the way, to putting a stop to evil corporations, Leona will stop at nothing to cause a ruckus, much to the chagrin of poor Al. So, now I gotta ask, what did you guys think going into this?
I mean, again, I watched the Dominion Tank Police before, and I was like, you know what, this is gonna be fun. The second one might be in the same vibe, but they changed a few things for the best.
Mm-hmm.
The character design is one of them. The narration structure is another.
Mm-hmm.
It's a more cohesive story. Yep. That at the first 2 episodes, it doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's gonna be very episodic. But then in the 3rd episode, you realize it's actually a line of a story, and you have all that very complicated subplot behind it, which I appreciate. It was nice. And yeah, and Leona just got 100 times more crazy.
Leona gets very trigger happy. It's about her just being just this off the rails character, much like Oda in Pat Labor.
Yeah, but it's great. It's great. It's good to see Dr. Disrespect and Ned Flanders just going around in the 80s.
That's true.
So how about you, Tori?
I mean, from my perspective, this is still just a fairly simple story.
Mm-hmm.
Tank police.
No doubt.
Tank police, fucking high crime rates, police brutality, for fuck's sakes. There's, it feels like, the problem I have is, like, when it comes to Shiro's, like some of Shiro's stories that are not Ghost in the Shell, I feel like he's indulging a little bit too much in his own insanity. And the story kind of suffers from it. So from my perspective, it was a mildly entertaining show, but I was not super sold on it.
Okay. So you guys want to hear my theory behind this show?
Sure.
Okay.
Please, go on.
So I'm watching this, and as we know, Pat Labor took place in the year 20XX, right?
Yeah.
And the world got into such chaos that they had to use labors to protect everything, right? Much like in the same way tanks had to be here. So here's my theory. I think Leona is actually the grandmother of what's-her-face from Pat Labor, because they're essentially similar characters, right? They're mechanic nuts that want nothing more than their big mechanical blow-up devices.
Yeah.
And further, this takes place. New Dominion takes place in 2016. If you saw the gravestone in episode 2, OVA episode 2, where Leona goes to, because her old partner was murdered in that episode, and it goes to her gravestone, she says to 2016.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Yeah. So where's our police tanks protecting us?
Well, I mean, talk to yourself. My police use heavy armored cars from time to time.
We're pretty damn close.
And the army actually makes the security in a bunch of states, so there's tanks rolling around. So I don't know about you, but my police has tanks.
So that's just my little fun theory there. My other theory is Shiro was talking to the creator of Pat Labor, and he goes, "I'm gonna make one just like that."
Then years later, he just, oh my god.
He just kind of goes off the rails.
Shiro is a really weird guy.
Yeah, he can write something like Ghost
He's
in the
like,
Shell,
oh,
and then he...
Apple Seed. Let's make Apple Seed. Let's make
God,
Ghost in the
Apple Seed.
Shell. Tank Police.
Tank-
Coca-Cola Pandora.
Oh, fuck! Oh, God, no! Oh, I forgot about that.
Right? He's a weird man.
Oh.
Like, might as well be true. You know, Coca-Cola Pandora is a fucking prequel to Ghost in the Shell, so might as well be true.
Fuck you, I hate you.
I'm sorry. I know I hate myself as well. Don't worry about
I
it.
want to know why. What made him sit down and go like, "Yep, this is a good idea." Like not Tank Police, but Pandora. It's like, why would he sit down and be like, "Yeah, this sounds like a good story."
I need a prequel to Ghost in the Shell. What about some lesbian robot maids? Sounds good. It's like he called Ikuhara, and Ikuhara's like, "Yo, dude, go for it. It's
Go
the best
for
thing
it.
I ever seen."
It's a great idea.
I don't know, man. I still think he would have, if we called Ikuhara, Ikuhara would have been like, "That's weak." Go more Chrissy.
That's weak.
So
I don't braid weakness.
So back to the character designs in New Dominion Tank Police. I like this aesthetic of this era. You know, the late '80s, early '90s.
Oh, it was great.
It's so good.
The first OVAs, the '80s OVAs, start with the Toshiba '80s logo appearing on screen.
Right.
And you just need to put that in loop and put a vaporwave behind it. It's all you need for a fucking thing. I was entertained by the Toshiba logo appearing in the '80s one. The '90s one has the '90s aesthetic. It adapted way too good, like way too quickly and good to the era they were in.
Yeah. Tori, I'm curious. What did you think of the aesthetic and character designs of the show? Because we've seen a few shows now on this podcast, whether it's Pat Labor or Bubblegum Crisis. What is your feeling in this era, personally now?
The '80s era.
Well, this aesthetic and character design of it all.
Well, I mean, like what I appreciate about it is, again, it's how a lot of the characters are more distinct. Mm-hmm. They have more like easily defined features. You know, you take that, contrast that to a lot of character designs today. It's the same design with different color here.
Right.
A lot of the time. So
very much true.
People often like it. I mean, fuck, if you have a character, let's say you have a show with a lot of characters with like multiple of them, like for example black hair today, it's very easy to get confused. Like, wait, aren't you? Oh no, wait, you're that one. So that you definitely don't run into that problem as much. The only problem I do have with designs of this era is that sometimes they get a little bit too wacky, a little bit too like cartoonish, and other times it starts affecting animation because the more detailed characters, the worse it is to animate. And so sometimes that's that can affect it. Not really too big of a problem in Dominion Tank Police because the 90s one, because the designs there are, while they have their distinct features, they're not overly designed. Mm-hmm. Like they're not super detailed. They're still cartoonish and flat enough to round enough to not be like a huge burden when in terms of animation, right? It's like I think the best example of the opposite I can think of is from what's that called? Oh my god, hold on, I need to look up something. Sakura Quartet. That's the one that I'm thinking about, which is a more modern one. Mm-hmm. Which has two versions, or actually it has multiple versions. One version is very simplistic and animation friendly, and the animation in that one is very good. The other one just opted for character designs that were way more similar to the one that was in the manga. And the manga has pretty good art. The problem with the manga is that every character is so hyper detailed, even just down to what they look like, as well as the clothes they're wearing, very stylish, loads of buttons and spikes and whatnot, and that suffered hard in that version of the anime because just they couldn't keep any of that when they animated it. It just had to go. So in that regard, I do like the visuals of the Mini Tank Police. They're detailed enough to be like easily discernible from one another, while at the same time not being like overly cartoonish or overly detailed.
Okay. So what I really liked about what New Dominion Tank Police does, and the original did this too, Dominion Tank Police, where as soon as you get into the first episode, the first OVA episode, it starts off with A, chaos, B, world destruction at all costs, and 3, a kick-ass 80s soundtrack. And what I mean by this is you have Bonaparte, that's the name of the tank that Al and Leona made, because they're police partners, and they're out going after a criminal in the streets of Newport, and the criminal runs into a bar, and they just go, "All right, come on out." He's like, "No." All right, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They just blow the bar apart.
She pulls a fucking. She pulls the guy. The guy has like a pistol, like a little pistol. She pulls a fucking submachine gun. She's like, and just shoots it with one hand, I believe.
Yeah.
So the accuracy is 0.
Oh no, she doesn't aim at the guy. She just sprays it all the way across.
Yeah, she just goes, "I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10," and starts shooting with her eyes closed.
Yeah, he even has the bartender as hostage, and she goes, "Well, I mean, if you kill him, that's just gonna add to your time. I don't care about that dude at all."
Yeah, and you're like, "All right." We succeeded in the mission, let's get out. They just got stuck and destroyed the building.
Yeah. They just ram right into the building with no regards of infrastructure.
Yeah.
So that really sets a tone.
It's always like that. Even in the 80s it's like that, right?
Yeah.
You have like destruction and why not, and you go to the plot, it's like, yeah, they are trying to steal pee. Like, what? Then you have although I believe the chaos in the New Dominion Tank Police is more tamed.
Yeah, I agree.
The characters are more like serious.
Mm-hmm. Also agree.
Take for example Megane or Glasses guy. In Dominion Tank Police, he should be the most intelligent guy in the Tank Police,
right.
But it's not very hard. But like he's a commander guy. In Dominion Tank Police, he's just a common dude. It's just, if you are in the Tank Police and you are normal, like your intelligence is at a normal state, you are a genius, right? But when it comes to New Dominion Tank Police, he's actually very smart and he solved problems the other guys who were like engineers and shit couldn't solve.
Yeah, that's more prevalent in OVA 3, which I titled Super Runaway Truck.
Yeah.
Where he just goes, send me the blueprints. All right, I got this shit figured out.
Yeah, but like in New Dominion Tank Police, he's regarded as a smart person, while in Dominion Tank Police, he's just a normal guy. It just happens that everyone in Tank Police is dumb as fuck.
And the main character in Tank Police that's dumb as fuck is the captain of all people, Brenton.
Yeah, and in New Dominion Tank Police, although he's still dumb, he's a leader, right?
Yeah.
He just goes around Dirty Harry style with the 44, the Colt 44.
The giant fucking gun.
Yeah, just a giant revolver. People like shooting lasers at him, and he's just shooting fucking 44 Magnum.
Guys, we're surrounded. We might die. I'll hold them off. And he just pulls out a big gun. You're going up against tanks, bro.
Yeah. It is great, and like even when it comes to the truck, it shows like the difference between Dominion Tank Police, where he's just a dumb guy who loves huge things and fuck everyone,
It's a male
to,
thing,
you know,
Hickey. It's a male thing.
I know it's a male thing. I love fucking Brendan.
Brendan is awesome.
Dude, he's great. But like when it comes to stopping the truck, and he's like, I'm gonna shoot like this really small spot, and which is a guy who doesn't speak, but like rifles just gives him a preciser rifle. And Brendan just looks at him and he's like, all right. Gives him just a bullet.
A single bullet.
From just a single bullet for his revolver. And he stands in the middle of the road. Coming this huge truck coming and just shoot this tight, like, little spot with a fucking revolver.
No second
It
chance.
shows the difference. No second chance. It really shows the difference between the first, like, the Dominion Tank Police, where you have the normal guy being the smartest guy in the Tank Police just because he's normal, being the smart guy. You have Brendan, which is a really dumb fuck, being an actual leader in New Dominion Tank Police.
So here's a question.
And Leona is the only one who downgraded. But I love her. She's great.
Good. So Tori.
Yes.
Question over the characters. I want to know your thoughts over Brenton. He's the captain of the Tank Police, and Leona herself, which is our main character.
Yeah, okay. Brenton is Brenton's cool. I like what he does. I like the gun maniac, and I especially like the little change there towards the end, because at first he is kind of like just like the others. The boss tells him to do something. Mm-hmm. He's like, I can't hear you. Good luck on the mission. Okay, yeah, thank you, boss. Thank you. Where are we going now? I can't hear you. I don't. No, sure, we'll take care of ourselves. No, just doesn't give a shit. And
that is a running joke in Dominion Tank Police in general, where the head of police is like, Brenton, you motherfucker! I didn't tell you to sortie. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, but then by the end,
sorry, Chief. Oh, you want us to go out? I agree. He's like, no, I didn't say any of that. What did you? Oh, we should bring the best and biggest guns. I also agree, Chief. Yep. No, Brenton.
No, but then it's like by the end there, he's like fucking almost sympathizing with the boss, and he's trying to bark orders at the others, and they're just doning. It's like, they never listen to my orders. And the other was literally just like, wow, you're really turning into the chief.
Yeah, I guess because he found someone who is exactly like him. Which she doesn't give a shit. He's like, look, don't go, don't do anything. And she's like, yo, you piece of shit. They hurt Bonaparte. They will pay with their lives.
Yeah, they kind of had a character
Breaks
switch.
radio. Right? It's great. And
they hurt my tank. You don't understand.
Yeah, Leona. She's alright, I guess.
Oh, she's great.
No, she's okay. She is the violent character.
No.
She just doesn't.
It's just that you don't like Metal Slug that much.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I really enjoy Metal Slug, so I really enjoyed Bonaparte and Leona.
You really enjoy the tank, got it. Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I just...
Of course, dude, please, I really enjoy it.
I know,
Of course I will enjoy the fucking tank.
I know. But, like, I don't know. To me, Leona's just kind of, she is the hothead character. She just kind of loses her temper and then screams and is like, murder! Die! It's not police brutality. We're just fucking gluing these people to the front of our tanks and running after dangerous criminals, shooting at us, trying to fucking ram them. It's like, it's not police. We're not overstepping our bounds. No.
That scene with the Puma sisters and the scene after how they escaped the prison. By like just having sex with the guard and then just leaving. It's just great.
They do a striptease in Dominion Tank Police.
That is true. Like, oh, we need to escape. They just go in the they go outside and start a striptease show, and the SWAT guys just go nuts.
It's like, very 80s, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, the police is so incompetent in the 80s show. Every single time. That's why they need tanks. The guys in the tank police are so dumb they cannot be fazed by striptease. It's basically that. It's basically why they have tanks.
I mean, they're fairly incompetent still, though. Fucking when Brenton goes out,
Well,
when
in
Brenton
New
goes out on
Dominion
that
Templates,
fucking
they are.
surveillance mission, trying to fucking keep an eye on Leona. Fucking, I mean, still, it's like, I told you, I'm not good at this. Clearly.
To me, the character of Leona was a hybrid mix of Oda and now Noah from Pat Labor.
Kinda.
That's what I felt. I thought it was a good mixture of the two characters.
No, I can see it. I just.
Yep. Also, her voice actress did a really good job.
Oh yeah, it's very good. There is an English dub for this New
No.
Dominion Tank Police, and it's okay.
No.
Hey, of the time, there was some bad dubbing, and
I know. I watched one.
and this wasn't as atrocious as any of those. But still, the Japanese voice acting was very good for the show. I quite enjoyed it. So now, let's just go over some of the episodes here. What was your favorite episode, Hickey? There's only 6 to choose from.
Shit, I mean, OVA 4 was really good.
Oh, where we get the
with,
Puma sisters back.
Of course, but not only that is when the subplot and the plot meet and everything start making sense. You have like the gun ban law the mayor wants to push,
Right.
and then you finally see what the biggest corporation is doing. They're basically, well, we will not be able to sell guns anymore, so might as well sell drugs. So they go at the end and they kind of explode a flower processing plant, but it's actually a drug. It's a drug plant disguised as flower processing plant. So you see that, and then it's just a fallout. It goes from them actually trying to kill the mayor in OVA 6.
5.
In OVA 5, in OVA 6, you have all the subplot of another company, which is like the biggest company in the world, trying to kill the mayor and not pass the bill, so they can buy the biggest gun manufacturer and become the largest in all companies in this world. So there's a bunch of, and OVA 4 is when everything actually starts and when everything starts making sense. Having the Puma sisters there is just a bonus.
The Puma sisters was a great bonus in New Dominion Tank Police. I was very happy to see them get kind of not a prominent role, but they existed, and it added to the comedy because they're such fun characters.
Yeah. Also, they have the Nagoya accent. just great things.
Tori,
Yes.
what was your favorite episode? Feelings over like the show's little subplot?
I mean, I kind of have to agree with Hickey. I think it's like the OVA 4 and OVA 5. I think that's where it's like really, really gets going. The first 3 episodes are kind of just a little bit more mindless fun, and then stuff really starts to kick in, and you start to like understand that like it's not just fun in games with tanks, although there's still fun in games with tanks.
Sure feels like
Yeah. That's Gross and Puzzle.
That's Gross and Pause. Oh shit, they blew up our tank. Don't worry, everyone's alive. It's fine. It's just a sport.
It's everything's fine.
It's just a sport. Shoot them! No, I mean,
some people outside the tank and they're just fighting MG42s and then it's fine. No one ever died. I don't believe you. But regardless, let's talk about Gross and Puzzles in 10 years or so.
yeah, let's do that. No, but yeah, like I'd probably have to give it like to OVA 5 just because I like the whole hit on the mayor. Mostly because I don't know. Apparently I like people in power dying. Although she didn't, but that's besides the point. Like it was nice because it does kind of show that if you're a political person and you're out with a plan to fucking rob your entire community of like most of their taxes and much of their income, then I guess you're also painting a target on your back, which, all things considered, I feel like she should have realized and probably, strengthened security a little bit, but hey, no need, I guess.
No need.
So yeah.
Who needs a police who may have tanks to protect you, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't trust those people to protect anything. When they just come fucking driving in like, shit, it's the enemy.
Yeah. You haven't watched the Dominion Tank Police,
haven't.
but they try to protect in a hospital, and the hospital end up blown up.
What is this dirty pair? We're here to save you all. We're here to save you all. You blew up our planet.
Yes.
Whoops.
Oops. My other theory is Dirty Pair is also in the same universe. It's just on a different planet.
Probably is. Like fucking, I don't know. Yeah. I like Dirty Pair more than this though. No, it's I don't know. So yeah, episode 5 for me is definitely the one that I enjoy the most.
Yep. Also, just want to point out that the banning of guns, that bill is just retarded.
You did point that out, it was really funny.
Because like they explain it. It's like, oh, there's this huge company and they pay in taxes 80% of the city's revenue by making guns. Let's ban guns. Because and people are like, well, I guess the taxes on people like will increase a little bit. It's like, it's not gonna increase a little bit. It's gonna increase a lot.
Yeah, I see. I definitely agree with that. Like, because
and
this is
the
the problem.
Company just goes, let's.
This is the problem, right? We
don't.
have literally. Sometimes I feel like, or at least with this, I felt like my country has fucking watched this show because they have the same ideas. Like, let's, you know what we should do? Let's make fucking looking for oil and burying for oil and whatnot illegal. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Take away our number one source of income, why don't you? With no other solution planned. Let's just ban that. Good idea.
Yeah, that is basically the ending of New Dominion Police. You're like, yeah, no, just let's ban the biggest income we have.
Yeah, but don't you understand that the guns are bad?
With 100% of the city income, they have huge like percentages of violence. With only 20%, I don't think things will get better. Even with the gun ban.
That just means more tank police.
Yes, and they are now a SWAT squad. They are now a SWAT squad by the next season name. I'm looking here. They're called Tank SWAT now. Tank SWAT 01.
And that's when everything turned into Jinro.
So, I think 3 was my favorite episode, but I'm also in agreement with you guys saying the 4-5 was when everything kind of came together, and that's, instead of it being an episodic show like what we get with, for example, the Pat Labor OVAs, it took that, it still had the fun of New Dominion Take Police, but it had a story to go along with it, which was really good. I still liked, from an entertainment perspective, I still liked episode 3 the most, because the super runaway truck with massive explosives inside was so ridiculous and just crazy. It was just so fun to see all the events that were happening in particular order. What were they gonna do to overcome this conflict of the who makes this truck, first of all, that's just so massive that it takes up the whole highway. Yeah. Puts a smart computer inside it.
Right at the beginning of that episode, when Leona and Al are just like pursuing a van, they shoot the van tire with a fucking shell, a tank shell. The people come out like, we are against the tank police brutality, but you look inside of the van, there's enough armament to like kill half of this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, how do you explain all this? And they just go, yeah, but you shot us.
Police brutality.
Police brutality.
The tank police brutality. It's not even the regular police brutality, because the only police the force that actually makes brutality in this is the tank police. They are very clear about that.
I also really like the design of Bonaparte, which is Leona and Al's little tank,
It's
tiny
a fucking
tank.
metal slug.
Yeah, it's something straight out of
It's a
Metal
Metal
Slug. It looks
Slug.
like a Dalek from Doctor Who.
Yeah, it looks like a Tachikoma. It looks like a
Yeah, you definitely
dog.
see it all. It's quite fun.
It's almost like it's written by the guy who wrote Doom Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost of the Shell, as
Wow.
we
Ghost
discussed.
off the shell, yes. Ghost in off the shell.
In of the Shell. Super Runaway Truck. That was my favorite episode. It was very
I
entertaining.
do like when Brenton just
Very
kind
over
of,
the top.
I do like when Brenton kind of just shoots it and he's like fucking all confident and like, one shot at this, and then it's like, wow, he did it! Brenton, are you okay? And he's just there fucking frozen in fear. Like,
Yeah, because he didn't move out of the way of the truck coming at him.
yeah. No, but I love it. It was just like that fucking like, no, he's so confident the entire way, and when he finally does it, he has a goddamn heart attack. It's like, not as brave as you thought, huh?
It is great. Like every episode, there's like this really great joke that comes out. The first episode, Leona stealing live ammo, just stealing tanks live ammo, just because she loves Bonaparte and loves to fire them. So might as
Yeah.
well just steal one.
It's like, where's these latest concussion cells we developed? They seem to be gone. I wonder where they went. And then you get cuts to Leona loading the shell into Bonaparte.
Yeah, it's great. Also, OVA 6, like the satisfaction in the end of OVA 6, with Leona just shooting down the airplane with the bad guy. It's just like great.
Police brutality, man.
Yeah.
No,
He's a.
that was an unidentified terrorist attack. All right.
It wasn't the
Not
tank
police
police. It was an
brutality.
unidentified terrorist attack on
yeah.
the diplomat.
Of course.
Exactly.
Fucking.
So, I was a little bit confused here. I don't know if I swear I must have missed a couple important plot devices. So, the main villain, the guy for Rockford Enterprises or whatever, the dude with the conspiracy theory, right? He was He was trying to brainwash people, but I didn't understand what he was brainwashing them for. I think I missed that part. And so what was that for exactly? Did they say? Did the show say?
They said it was to become a minion.
Yeah, but I don't think they specifically stated exactly why they wanted to brainwash people, and that was obviously tied into the former Leona's former partner, her death. But
Yeah,
it's
I think
but I
it
don't
was
even
just
think.
to make cyborgs.
Yeah, but I don't think I kind of agree with JD there. Now that I think, but I got the impression that they'd already brainwashed her, but then they killed her. So I don't know.
She escaped. No, she escaped before being brainwashed. So the cyborg guy goes and kill her.
Yeah.
That's the beginning. That's why when Leona, they tried to brainwash Leona, they
Yes.
tied her to the
No,
chair.
but that's what I thought. But the way they described it made it seem like made it seem like he was bragging that he had already brainwashed her and then proceeded to kill her.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a little bit confusing. To my understanding, was to like not only brainwash, but like also remove the brain and make them a cyborg, just like they did with Miller, the guy who killed the former partner.
Mueller. Yeah.
Miller.
My other question was, as we approach the end and supposedly the subplot of what was the name? What was the name of that organization? It wasn't Rockford Enterprises. It was
The other company.
the other company. Let me get it right.
Something Japanese. Something.
Was it
Let's see
Japanese though? I don't think it was. Yeah, I don't remember.
Dynapon Gikken Research Agency.
That's it.
DGRA.
Dai Nippon.
Yeah,
The
Daipon.
big Japan. Big Japan.
So, Daipon was the organization that was developing and selling the weaponry. and Rockford Enterprises was wanting to buy them out. Hence the mayor, the hit on the mayor, because she was going to pass the law to prevent the selling of that, the free selling of it. Anyways, what was the villain's role? That dude, was he part of Rockford Enterprises, or did he work for Daipon and Rockford wanted to hire him to take over Daipon?
He was a diplomat. He was actually a diplomat. You mean the blonde guy?
Yeah.
All right. So what happens was there's the black-haired dude, the old man, which is part of Rockford, and there's the diplomat. What happens is Rockford is so big that being a part of like a CEO, like he would be in Rockford, is way better than being a diplomat.
Right.
What they did was they instigated Daipon to kill the mayor, and that meeting they had to discuss this was recorded.
I got that.
So Rockford basically blackmailed those guys and switched the CEOs of Dynapon for people who were also part of Rockford. So the only thing they had to do is Dynapon is basically bought. Now what they need to do is the mayor to die, and the gun ban law wouldn't pass. So Rockford would be the biggest company, not only in every single kind of manufactory, but also the gun manufactory, which is Daipon biggest factory.
Okay. Yeah. I just missed those some of those key elements to how it all tied together.
Yeah, it was basically like that. Daipon kills the mayor. The bill doesn't pass. Rockford gives the evidence of Daipon killing the mayor and selling illegal drugs to the police. Everyone resigns in Daipon. Rockford buys Daipon and can makes even more drugs and even more guns.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Because I remember the line
behind
where the one guy, the diplomat, was going to be hired by Rockford to take over Daipon.
Yeah, because he was using his immunity to, make all those things.
Okay, that's more
it's a little bit confusing. I sat down when I watched all the 6 OVAs and thought about it, because I thought it was a little bit confusing.
Yeah, it really was.
I think it was partially a problem with the subtitles and how things were translated.
It's possible.
But once you figure it out, it's not that hard. It's just a company trying to acquire another company using some political thing.
It was weird how they were going about it in such chaos, and that was episode 5 where all the crimes happen.
Yeah.
To mask the hit put out on the mayor, it was masked as just chaos was happening everywhere, and the mayor just got caught up in the chaos. It kind of makes sense, but it was definitely overdone. They couldn't just hire a hitman and to take her out.
I mean, yeah, all right. Now, I still think it's kind of, well, I mean, she does have guards with her, but I think it's, I think the kind of like the weirdest thing is just like this general idea. It's like she is about to try to have this bill passed that would ban all guns. So let's murder her, and if by murdering her, that will make the bill not happen, which is kind of weird if you think about it. It's like, I don't think that's how it works, but then, she did get almost killed, and then they were like, everyone's like, yeah, we're throwing out the bill now. It's like, who are these people voting, and do they work for the EU, perhaps? Because that's what it feels like.
I mean, they might have been bought out by Rockford. I don't know, like, they never explained it, but, like, if they can buy out a diplomat and so he can use his immunity, like, his diplomatic immunity to almost destroy a fucking city, I think that the politicians are also bought.
That is fine. But then why does he need to kill her? They could just not vote for the bill.
I know. Yes. This is another thing. If they can do all of those things, might as well just do lobby and bribe politicians to not pass the bill.
They could have gone about this
Or
so
like,
much easier.
or like just like pass the bill. Like Rockford bribes the politicians, they pass the bill. Daipon almost, is almost dead. Rockford buys Daipon, and then they bribe the politicians to revoke the fucking bill. And then they have Daipon, they have the gun manufacturing, and done. It's way more simple than bribing, like blackmailing and terrorist attacks and all the things they did.
Let's try to have this bill
But
not
it wouldn't be
passed.
that fun.
Why don't we just bribe the politicians to not pass the bill? Pfft, are you kidding me? No, we can't do that. So instead, we're going to instigate this terrorist plot where we're going to confuse everyone, and in the confusion, we're going to kill the mayor, and that will in turn make the bill not come to pass. Yeah, I still think we should just bribe the politicians.
I really like this city. It's a little bit fucked up, but I enjoy living here. I don't want it to be blown up or anything. Nah, fuck you.
You know what though?
I have money.
I don't care. They could have stuck with the way they did it, but I also would have appreciated if they would have actually added that. Some guy just going like, "Can we just do it the easy way?" And then they go, "No, that's not fun."
Yeah, that would be great. Like the other guy who was with the diplomat, the Japanese
Yeah.
guy, who was operating the killing machines. He just raises his hand, is like, "Can't we just like bribe people?" No, okay. I guess I'm gonna just operate these death machines now.
Can we just bribe them? No, go back to operating your death machines. Fine.
So New Dominion Tank Police to me was just a super fun show. It's definitely Masamune Shiro's style, where it's just these mechs in a wacky world with some slapstick comedy with an underlying kind of mature plot to it all. That it doesn't seem totally out of place, but it moves along a story in a fun way. So that's kind of my final thoughts over this. What about you guys?
Definitely, it is the standard of Masamune Shiro.
Yeah. For better and for worse.
It is so sad to think that Ghost in the Shell was the exception, but yeah.
I mean, it's so
Well,
sad to think that the
funny
Ghost in the
enough,
Shell that everyone thinks about is not Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, the manga.
There's Appleseed as
The
well.
manga is
Appleseed
apparently
is good.
much like New Dominion Take Police, where it's a lot more comical and slapstick, and it was the movie
Yeah.
that changed all that to a much more serious tone, and it went
Yeah.
from there. So
I mean,
I'm
that's-
very curious about the Ghost in the Shell
the,
manga.
the director of Ghost in the Shell just said, "Look," they went to Masamune Shiro's like, "Can we just change this? It's a way too good.
mean-
it's way too good of a story to be a slapstick comedy."
That's why I love the fact that they gave it to Mamoru, because he is like, he's a very serious director. So it's like, he wouldn't just make that unless he could make it the best he thought he could make it. And he basically was like, you know what? Fuck you, Masamune Shirow. I have a better idea.
He also did that with Patlabor.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
So
I
he has a
again, I
history
appreciate
doing
that. Yes, I appreciate it because again, like I said, creative freedom. It's an adaptation, or rather, that's why it's now. If you look at Ghost in the Shell, rather than being adapted from a manga, it says in the opening, it says based on based on a manga by Masamune Shirow. Like it's not Ghost in the Shell. The story is based on a manga by Masamune Shirow, but it's not an adaptation of the manga from Masamune Shirow. And just little things like that, and I appreciate it. It's definitely one of those things which, like, when it comes to, or one of the things that I like about, especially Ghost in the Shell, is just the fact that, like, every Ghost in the Shell is different, and it has the license to be that, because it's always been like that. The manga is one version, the movies, the Oshi movies are one version, the TV series is one version, the Arise series, or movies and OVA are one version. I like that.
So, just one last question before we give our final thoughts or just our scores. Would you guys be interested in more Dominion Tank Police in general. Like if it went like the Pat Labor route where it became a TV show and had like 30, 40 episodes, because this could be a very episodic, fun show if there was more of it. Would you want more of it?
I would be very interested. Talking about Bad Labor, I would be very interested if it was like the movies, and see what would come out.
If Oshi got a hold of new Dominion Tank Police.
Yes, and just make like 2 movies about it. The first one being closer to what we see about wacky villains trying to steal P from the hospital, and the second one being just like this huge mental movie. That would be very interesting.
You know,
I mean, yeah.
I think that would be interesting because you have that whole plot around the bacteria in the air. You imagine just a villain that goes, "I'm going to get rid of all the bacteria and everyone's going to die."
Yeah, I mean, just, since you're talking about a sequel, there is technically a OVA sequel to the Dominion Tank
from
Police.
2006.
Yep,
Thanks,
and
Sweat.
just looking at this, it disgusts me. The fucking design on the key art.
Oh, you too. I'm good. We are on the same page.
All
Alright, I haven't quite looked at it yet. Tank SWAT 1. Let's see here.
He looks childish.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's also got a 5.05, so it's clearly
What
great.
is this?
It's it's a sequel to the Dominion Tank Police.
It's something.
Who did this?
It's
Romanov Higa.
What?
Studios not known.
Look at the producer. The producer of the show.
Not listed.
No, great. They just erase themselves.
Oh, this doesn't
Producers
exist.
none found. Licensors none found. Studios none found. Source unknown.
Yeah.
What do you mean
It's
source
lost- it's
unknown?
lost the time.
It's based on me. It's based on Masamune Shiro's. It was
No one.
Dude, this was approved by Masamune Shiro. There you go. This is my point. Masamune Shiro is not that good. Okay? Fuck you. He approved this. He said yes to
boy.
this.
Is this CG?
Probably.
It looks CG. Oof. Ooh.
Yeah, anyways. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, no. Dominion Tank Police and Neo Dominion Tank Police, great the way they
Imagine
are.
if it had a
They
sequel.
never had a sequel. But if they had a sequel, I would be very interested in see Mamoru Oshii doing what he did to Pet Labor.
Okay. I would like to see exactly what they did with Pat Labor. You have the mature movies by Oshii, and then you have the comedy TV show.
You know what, though? Obviously, Oshii doing what he did to Ghost in the Shell and Pad Labor and whatnot with the new Dominion Tank Police would have been interesting. But I'm kind of starting to wonder, because, obviously, since I talked about him earlier, and since he's done some incredible things with Lupin, I wonder what it would be like if Takeshi Koike made a movie about this.
Ooh.
That could be interesting.
Also interesting.
He does like to take old stuff and, try to spin it a little bit more like adult and dark, so we'll see. That could be an interesting idea. Somebody should call him.
It's like, hey, you're not working on Red Line anymore. You got some time, right?
I know you just released a third Lupin movie of yours, but
I really
thought
gotta watch
about taking
those
up
3
Dominion
Lupin
Tank
movies.
Police.
I really gotta watch those 3 Lupin movies. I really do.
Yeah, I've only watched the first one, the Jigen one, and that was good. So I'm looking forward to watching the 2 others.
I want to see the Goemon Jigan and naturally Fujiko. Like, holy shit.
Of course.
Holy shit. All right, new Dominion Tank Police. Final scores. I don't know. There's something about this era that I really just find fun. I never find myself bored even watching mediocre shows from this time, such as Midnight Eye Goku.
Just the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish they were longer. The just being 6-episode OVAs, it was the time, the OVA era. if it could get a TV show, I'd probably definitely enjoy it even more. That being said, I think it's just one of those hard 7 shows where you can have fun watching it. It's not a big time investment. You really just laugh and have a good time. You know, it's just one of those anime. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for me. Super fun. I wish there was more.
Yeah, we are on the same page. Like I also gave it a 7. I had a lot of fun. Especially with Leona. I really enjoyed her voice actress. She did a really good job. All is non-existent, so we're not talking about him, and Brendan as well.
Love Brendan.
The plot in New Dominion Tank Police is more cohesive. It's better built than the Dominion Tank Police. Mm-hmm. And I was having fun the entire time. And I really, really want to play Metal Slug.
I love the Metal Slug games. This does remind me of that. I did find
I really want.
I did find myself comparing the show to Patlabor quite a lot in my head, because they're very similar, but yet the way they went about the seriousness of its arc and the slapstick comedy of the characters, I thought Dominion Tank Police just flowed more.
You see, I didn't do that. When I started watching the Dominion Tank Police, the 80s one, it came to my mind, Patlabor comes to mind. They're very similar. But aside that moment, I've never compared the two of them. Not even like once. I compared it once when I started watching, but that was it. They're very distinguishable from each other. And New Dominion Tank Police is way more slapstick than Patlabor, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but it's great.
Slapstick, yes. Slapstick. That type of comedy. Yeah, it's more in NDTP. Tori?
Yes. So, New Dominion Tank Police. It's a decently entertaining show. The first half, I wasn't really feeling it. It had some moments, like again, usually revolving Brenton, which, by the way, best character, and Al is literally just there to be
Dr. Disrespect.
Al is literally just there to be stepped on, and Leona was literally just there to step on him and fire tanks. Yes, I know I said fire tanks, and I mean it. If she could shoot tanks out of her tank, she would. So yeah, it got better at the second half of the OVA. But even still, I wasn't hugely into it. Like, it was okay, so I ended up giving it a 6, but it's not exactly my type of show.
What did you give the Patlabor OVA, if you remember?
I think I either gave it a 6 or a 7. Let me just quickly, not the new one, the first
the 80s
one, the
OVA.
early days.
It was like 6 episodes,
Yeah, okay, I gave that a 7, yeah.
Okay, so what gave Patlabor the edge over New Dominion Tank Police for you then?
Well, first of all, that's the use of slapstick. I'm not a big fan of slapstick comedy to begin with.
Okay.
But I don't know. From what I remember from Patlabor, like I said the same thing. I'm pretty sure I said the same thing on the Patlabor podcast. I wasn't hugely into the OVA. I prefer the movies more than the OVA.
Sure.
When it came to Patlabor, but with movie 2 being my favorite out of them, and but like I think it's kind of the same thing. It's like I've said before, my rule is kind of like if it's a 6.5 or above, like I don't really rate point for like half steps and whatnot, but like if I feel like it's like a high 6 or above halfway to a 7, then I upgrade it to a 7. So I think Patlabor was just kind of, it was at that point, it was like on a higher tail tier 6, so therefore I upgraded to a 7, whereas Patlabor is more on a like under that. It's a 6 right around there, give or take.
All right. And then with that, a couple quick shout outs here. One goes out to Retro Twitch, a retro gaming community over on a Discord server. It's a really fun retro community from all around the world. You can join that easily join via Twitter at RetroTwitchCom, COM at the end of Retro Twitch. Just hit the link and join. It's a fun little community. Talk about retro gaming. They have a nice little speedrunning community that's been developed. A lot of Europeans there, that's for sure. And so super fun, join that, and then naturally go check out Anime Radicals over at Anime Radicals Twitter, and over on SoundCloud and many other podcasting outlets. They do mecha shows, a shonen follow along. Right now they're doing one of the Anime Radicals over there is watching Hunter x Hunter for the first time. So they're doing a podcast over that journey. And then some timely reviews. I was recently on an episode about the Battle Angel Alita movie. So go check them out, Anime Radicals. Fun little community. You can also join their Discord as well. And with that, our next episode is over. Let's see here.
Dun dun dun
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun. Akira.
Akira!
We're doing it, boys.
Yeah, finally. And if you want a sneak peek on a little bit of my thoughts about Akira, well, stay tuned to my YouTube channel at Anime Top Scholar over on YouTube for a Monday release of a new video where I do talk a little bit about Akira.
How about that? And that will also be our Spring Impressions episode. So everything's coming up on us quick as we get closer and closer to our episode 50 milestone. And we'll leave the anime we're reviewing for that one a surprise. And got a couple questions. We have been asked to do another hentai episode by multiple people. They want another one, and we can say that's coming soon. We just haven't decided which hentai we're gonna do yet.
Yeah.
We need to pick a good one. And no hickey. No.
If you guys want the first lolly hentai ever made, just say it.
Oh man. So we will be doing that down the line, and tomorrow is so by the time this episode airs, it will be the High Dive gift card giveaway contest will be over. So just for this cast, I can check how many submissions there have been. You could have entered via Gleam.io, which was a pinned link on my Twitter at BowlingJD Redleaf Retrocast. Easy to enter, and we have 268 total entries upon this, with 47 anime recommendations.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that was a lot. And if I'm looking at a bunch, we got there the most the one that was requested the most was Dragon Ball Z. So
Shocking,
right? We got.
Why couldn't you at least recommend? Why couldn't you at least start with Dragon Ball, huh?
Right? I think we should start with Dragon Ball though. We got a lot of Pokemon. Fruits Basket has made a big comeback, and then some others that we've already done, and I already contacted those people, saying we already did it and referenced our past episode. So there you go.
All right.
With that, we'll see you next time, guys.
Peace.
See ya.
Hey dude, you into anime, manga, and all that radical stuff?
Oh yeah, man, it's tubular.
Then you should totally check out the...
This transmission has been hacked. If you want discussions, debate, reviews, and all in between, you must listen to the Anime Radicals Network at www.animeradicals.com. There's timely reviews, revolutions, mecha, and much more. Find it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, and all podcast catchers. The Anime Radicals Network.
The revolution will be simulcast.